When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Goldline's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms? Light as a feather.
It's a Goldline.
It's a Goldline.
It's a Goldline.
And is the choice of champions.
Final stone. Does he have it? Yes, he does! What a shot! John Schuster! Oh my goodness! A third of a rock for... That would make sense why he did curl.
Well, we got to not kill that. It's got to just be in the catch zone.
I mean, my gut is like hack to board and just roll 3 feet. 2 feet.
Yeah? Yeah, I think it's probably just hack.
You're always touching the 6.
I don't know that this leaves the 4-foot with hack.
Really good spots for Miller.
I think John's in a situation where he needs to send one of the right guards back.
Yeah, and it's dead nose and just, it's going to go spinning. This actually might catch two and just leak back.
I think it does.
Okay, so it might, yep. Close to dead.
Hammer something.
Extra focus of the players, because sometimes you just couldn't hear yourself thinking, and we needed to like use signs and show what we meant instead of just shouting out a number or like play this hit and roll kind of thing. We had to show everything, so that added another level, I guess, to our game. After that, we've been a little better when the crowd is loud or when you can't hear as well.
Johnson on this one here.
Can't hear yet for Line ever.
No, they like Line. Now does it have the speed? They like the line. Does it have the speed? They're going hard for Line. You have to get by this top yellow. Trevor Johnson leaning on it. He's by it. Now does it stop in time? Has to stop in time. What a shot from Ryland Kleider. We thought it was maybe the hardest option up from the booth, but that's why we're not down there.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
pushing limits,
seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a Goldline.
It's a Goldline.
It's a Goldline.
And it's the choice of champions. And battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
pushing limits,
seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a Goldline.
It's a Goldline.
It's a Goldline.
And it's the choice of champions.
Last rock, 8th in. From the tie to Isabella Verano.
Good afternoon, curling fans. Welcome inside the Mattamy Centre here in Toronto, Ontario, also known as the center of the universe, in Canada anyway. We are bringing you the action from the AMJ Players Championship, the final Grand Slam of curling event of the year. Had the 4 regular slams and now wrapping it up with the Players Championship. I am Brent Lang, joined by Chris Plies, our American friend here, has popped in to say hello and give us some insight. Still playing at a very high level. Just missed qualifying for the Players, I imagine, Chris?
Yeah, it was rough nationals for us, so we would have had that.
That's the difference. So let's point some fingers. Was it Schusty or who's the problem here?
It was a collective effort, I think.
Dropkin was involved too. Sounded like they played pretty good.
Yeah, they handled themselves well there. You know, we had some relatively tough conditions this year at our nationals, and those boys handled it. Casper as well handled it better than we did for sure.
Cool. We've got the Whyte versus Hoesli game. We're going to check out the lineups here. Whyte at 1-0. We got Ewan Kyle, Duncan McFadden, Robin Bryden, and Ross Whyte. Covered one of their games yesterday, and they're not a clone of Team Mowat, but they make pretty much as many shots. And we've got Team Hoesli here, and I'm not even going to attempt the last names too much, but Justin Hauscher, that's close. Philip Hoesli, Marco Hoesli, and Mystery Man. Wow, they're playing with 3 today? Looks like there's 4 monsters out there.
It does.
Hoesli with the hammer to start the game, and of course it's the skip who throws third rock, Marco Hoesli. Philip throws last, and then Simon Glure and Justin Hauscher. And feel free to tweet at me at blang99 to say you're not even close and give me the pronunciation. I do my best. My best isn't great though. 2 aggressive teams, 2 teams that you know, by today's standards, by any standards, are young, and you'd like to call them up and coming, but Whyte has arrived, and Hoesli, those become a fixture. Have you played them much over the years, Chris?
Yeah, we have. You know, I think Hoesli, once they made that lineup switching those 2 boys around, I mean, they seem to have kind of just accelerated. I mean, obviously, big sweeping team, and yeah, they're not afraid to mix it up, and I think of all the teams that we play, they're one of those guys that you feel like you have them in trouble, and then there's one big freeze or one big double that just gets them out of it, and so they're definitely a big shot team.
Yeah, Philip, since he's gone to 4th rock throw, he just seems fearless, and sometimes it helps to not call the game and not have that extra stress and just sweep some and get a feel for draw weight, get to talk to the guys. It's a lonely job skipping. You've done it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you've played third, and third's way more fun, right? Way more social.
It's nice to be involved in everything and not just be on your own little island down there. So, you know, for those folks, I mean, you look at Elena too. I mean, somebody that, you know, has made a living out of throwing last rocks, and you know, if you can make it work, I think there's something to it for sure.
Early run back here, tricky one too. Can't quite see all of this red one, so Justin going to be asked to in an in-between path after practice. This is rarely broken down quite right, so there's definitely some guesswork here. Not sure I would advise this call, and thrown pretty well.
Yeah, those ones are tough.
First end, middle path. I usually shake those off at second or lead. It's like, no, that's a back end shot. Let's just throw the draw, the one we know, and I think it would have been a better result in a lot of ways too. But knowing that if they peeled it, at least it didn't have to go back. It is their stone, so
yeah.
Skips are similar to goalies in hockey, right? Spend the whole day alone with their thoughts, and sometimes that drives them crazy.
I think so.
They're just different breed.
Yeah.
Duncan going for the high guard here. Early pressure on Team Hoesli. We're going to see the high heat from Glure here for sure.
Sliding a little deep here.
Might line it up, and hello. That's the shot you want to start the game. Hit it high, and it's going to make contact in the house. I think these rocks will drag enough that that's going to hit it on the center line side.
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing about slam rocks. Like, you look at the striking bands on these things, and they're so tiny. They're just really bouncy, lively rocks. And yeah, I think Glure is more than happy to be throwing this before the last shot.
He was expecting like a 10-foot double that he had to risk nosing it and really screwing the end up, but it's hit fairly thick, but it didn't drag as much as I thought, but still opens it right up, and we're probably going to have to fill some dead air here before too long. How good these teams hit. And
yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing you hear people talking about, you know, the amount of blank ends and stuff in these games, and you know, I think it gets a little misinterpreted. Like, these blanks aren't easy blanks. It's just the level of hitting at this point is just bananas.
it is, and Rachel was on yesterday to do a game, and she said there's fewer blanks in the ladies' game, but it's because there's fewer players that can throw the 5.5 and 6 second peels and make every run back they look at. She got a first row seat to that playing Mowat on Monday night in the Real Mari Battle of the Sexes, and the sweeping is a big difference too. She talked about that multiple times.
Yeah.
That really adds to the precision, and Duncan won't be happy there. Gave them the blank. I think they were probably going to get it anyway, but another kind of guess in the first end and makes Duncan look bad, but that was probably even close to what they wanted.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, there is a ton of chatter about the blanks. What I asked Rachel yesterday, I'm going to ask all the players that come on that have played it. What did you think of the no back-to-back blanks?
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. It you know, it would definitely put the emphasis on a little bit more aggression when you have the hammer, which I think is cool. And I mean, like we were saying, it's video game curling at this point. I mean, it's
close, right?
I mean, with how good the sweepers are now and being able to just have rocks just coming down on a rope, it's unreal. Just the blank ability. It's not the just throw it in the house and peel it out and exchange hits all end. It's super complex ends that even coming into thirds rocks are, you know, you'd never in a million years think you're going to see a blank, and it's just become routine.
It does. It happens all the time, and that's kind of some of the teams are fairly or more unfairly picked on. You know, they talk about a team that I work with. Sometimes McEwen blanks a lot of ends. Jacobs definitely blanks a lot of ends, and it's like those are two of the best hitting teams in the world at the same time. So it's
totally.
You know, there are choices, and don't get me wrong, it's part of their strategy.
Yep.
But certain fans and certain powers that be, especially at the Grand Slam of curling, if you follow Nick Selsky, he likes to poke fun at the blank ends. And yesterday had a great game we were doing here as we see Marco Hoesli throw his first in the first end here. But we had a great game. Mowat wasn't quite himself, and Muskatovitz, they didn't have their best stuff either, but it was an amazing game to watch because misses lead to madness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And rocks everywhere, and that's so we didn't see a lot of blanks. We saw some big ends, we saw some big steals, we saw some big shots, and a couple of scratching your heads because they weren't quite figuring out the ice quite right, and it led to you know, a couple way more misses than normal. Like a miss and end is more than normal, it seems these days.
Absolutely, and I mean, I know as a player you want to have that perfect surface all the time, but as far as entertainment value goes, you know, having some misses and having to kind of adjust your strategy and all that kind of stuff based on that kind of stuff makes the game a lot more interesting as somebody that's just watching it.
Yeah, now that I'm retired, I hope the ice goes to shit.
I mean, man, some of these kids, you look at their birthdays and they're starting to be born in the 2000s, and I mean, remember the old Brantford days, going to Paris and going to Brant and going to Brantford, and you run on a different ice surface every game. And I think that's kind of a lost art a little bit for some of these teams. You get used to 6 feet of curl and 15-second ice, and so it is like, part of me is being like one of the old guys now and get a little bit of enjoyment out of seeing people struggle a little bit with that.
It's kind of like when you're watching, you know, on golf, and you know how hard golf is, and a tour guy struggles. It's like, okay, so it is hard. It's not just me. As Ross Whyte prepares to throw his first here, not a lot going on in this game, but you say the old Paris. I remember, I think we played you. I think you were on the team that beat us in Paris, and we were both just lost out there. Like, it not only was the ice tricky in terms of paths, it was super slow, and the old Welton Beauchamp comes to mind too. I'm not sure if you're probably not old enough to have played in that one, but
no.
It was the same, like multiple clubs and, you know, nonstop curling every day. Not enough time for the ice maker to do his best, even if he did know what he was doing, which they did in Ottawa. Lots of good ice in Ottawa, but just led to crazy games, and that's why the Muckers always won. Team Harris, Richie Hart, they used to win that one all the time. Good partiers and good Muckers, and that was their spiel.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this lineup change that they made, you know, the way he throws the rock is just, I like his game, man. Same with, I mean, Ross Whyte is, you know, coming from a country where if you win, you go. Totally different setup, and we don't need to get into any of that. But
we can get into whatever we like.
You know, I feel for some of these countries where you have multiple good teams and the way they have it set up, and you know, you can't really argue with it. The results seem to follow up with the decisions they make. But such a fan of Ross and the way he goes about the game. Just I mean, he looks like a little bit of a soccer hooligan. You'd run into him at a bar, you know, and hopefully you're wearing the right color jersey. But yeah, just the way he handles himself as a skip is, I'm a huge fan.
Unflappable, right? Both these guys, both these last rock throwers, and it's become a requirement. And I had a drink with the guys last night with Team Whyte, and they were saying, yeah, I feel bad for us, but you know, we get to play in the slams. We're tops. We want to slam. We're doing okay. What about the next guys in Scotland that look up and see two teams in their 20s that most of the world can't beat, and they're thinking, why do we bother?
Yeah.
So open blank here and curl, and sweeping for a little curl, but no problem there. And story time is over as Philip Hoesli blanks the first end, and we'll take a quick break and come back for hopefully a little bit more action.
Rio Mare. Great taste needs little. Prime quality tuna and selected olive oil. Rio Mare, the real taste of Italy.
Welcome back to the second end action. Team Whyte from Scotland versus Team Hoesli from Switzerland. And first end got off to a bit of a slow start. Blank end, 0-0. We've even talked about no blanks, and I think that, not that it's not worth a try. I think anything's worth a try, at least in practice. We may not just throw it out on the ice at a Grand Slam without any thought or anything, but nothing is off the table to try and make this as exciting as possible. You know, get some new fans in. The traditional curling fans, we're the ones that complain about changes, but we're not going anywhere. There's nothing else like curling. If you love curling, you're not quitting on us just because we changed one rule, are you?
No, absolutely not. And I think the cool part about this is when you have these teams that are this good, no one's advocating for these rules that league play, like the changes that league play. Like let's keep it real when we're at the curling club and let people have a great time. But when teams have gotten this good, I think it's good to challenge these guys and ladies, and it's good to see some scoring and some offense and just a little bit of chaos out there.
Couldn't agree more. And we're tiger-proofing the curling game at the elite level. No different than after the 97 Masters. I just read through an article about some of the places he hit drives and some of the clubs he was hitting into par fives, like pitching wedge and stuff. And it's like, well, no wonder you had to change the course.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not, and you don't have to change it for you and I, because that doesn't matter what I'm hitting. It's going anywhere.
Yep.
So typical start here, tight center, corner guard. The 5-rock rules kind of created that. You hardly ever see teams go in with the first shot of the end without the hammer, because they know if you hit and roll to the side and then they throw the corner, it's like, this is a bad situation. Zero risk for the team with hammer and good chance at a deuce. So
yeah, that delayed corner guard is deadly, man. Like, people learned their lesson real quick on that.
Yeah, that didn't last long. It's
No.
like, oh, whoops. So we're going to see some rocks in play here. Calling for the straight freeze here from Justin. See if he can lock it right on. And it's no longer good enough to be close. They're not only just trying to make this freeze, they're trying to lock it right on the nose so that even after Team Whyte follows it down, that it's going to be locked in there and they can run that center guard is really what they're probably trying to do. That's pretty good.
Geesh, that's a big boy.
Yeah, no, I was saying to you off air, the first time I really got up and close and personal with these guys, I was walking by and I was like, holy, they're like twice as big as they look from up here, and they look big from up here.
Yeah.
But he made Brett Gallant look like an average human, and there's nothing average about Brett's physique.
No.
Gonna follow him down here. Duncan had some trouble in the first end, but this is a different path. This is one they know well. The guess on the path to the wings kind of tricked him, but should have a pretty good idea here. And the ice has been, speed's been good. Seen some struggle with kind of figuring out the paths. There seems to be from wider it curls more, so kind of two flight plans to get to the same spot: the wide ice with the curl, or the tighter ice with a little less curl. And
sure. That'll do just fine.
Not bad at all. Access to get rid of the red. I don't think that Mark was going to leave that center guard there. I think you're going to see that come straight back, make that double, and be in really good shape. That's what we don't see much of anymore. Used to see a lot more of this next one. Okay, it's good angles for us if we're red. If we freeze it red on the nose, all the yellows fly. Most teams, especially on the men's side, race up to run that center guard.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a good opportunity. I mean, with how accurate and how hard these guys can throw it. I mean, it's like, why throw one in there when you can have the center guard and the rock in the rings?
Yeah, seconds in my day, at least the second on my team, didn't make this enough, but I can make the draw most of the time.
Look at this guy. I mean, he can barely see around his bicep getting ready to throw this thing. It's crazy.
Floated it, though. Too much arm on this one. This doesn't look very particularly close. Making a liar out of us, saying they make them all the time now, but you can see Ross is probably going to end up peeling the corner guard.
Yeah.
He's going to guard it.
Throw the center.
He's pretty aggressive. I like it. That's one thing. And there is advantages to being beat down by Mowat constantly and training beside Mowat constantly. You're either going to quit or you're going to get really good. Those are your two options.
Yeah, it's the old cliche of iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't hurt that both these guys could throw a hay bale through the ceiling, but I mean, going out there every day and training alongside a team like that. I mean, I was having this conversation last night with some folks over at Beverage, and we were talking about the greatest teams of all time. And I think Mowat's starting to very much enter that conversation. You look at, you have some teams that you played on.
That team Martin.
The Martin 09-10.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I mean, I was up in Moose Jaw last week and watching Mark play, and he looked like he had, and I don't mean this as disrespectful at all, but he looked like he had rewound the clock a little bit. I mean, it was very vintage Mark Kennedy, just surgical.
Yeah.
But, these guys now, there you go. Nice little run there. But
even brought the weight down there just to make it a little harder, just to be sure.
Yeah.
It's impossible to compare eras like in any sport, the old LeBron and MJ, and I'm firmly on MJ's side, by the way, but in anything, Jack Tiger, it's just different. And curling, like if you brought that 2010 Team Martin, who was the best team I ever played against, if you brought them and put them in here in their prime, I'd like to think they could compete. The game is different, though.
Yeah.
But those guys they had the best player at every position, more or less. Like we could compete with them, and we were close, but when it came down to it, there's a reason we were like 1-10 against them at the Briars.
Yeah.
We could beat them in the slams, though. I don't know if they drank more at the slams or drank less, or we were way better at the slams.
There's a couple guys on that team that you'd like to think there was probably some extracurriculars,
Well, I don't know why John got cut, but so corner freeze on the guard, kind of trying to take away that runner. I think that was probably meant to be on the other side, but could go tick-tick and maybe get lucky and spill the red in. It's an uncomfortable situation here for Team Whyte, although they're shot behind two centers. So an early conversation here. What about time clocks, Chris? What do you think about the amount of time you guys get? You guys play pretty quick, eh? Johnny doesn't screw around, and none of you guys are big talkers unless kind of asked, or you guys generally go back and forth pretty quick. But what do you think about the time clocks?
Yeah, no, I think it's good. That's the one thing I think that curling needs, is to speed it up a little bit. So I think the time that's given is fair. I think there's a lot of, when you see teams getting really low consistently, I think there's a lot of just unnecessary chatter where you know, have your process, have what you need to get through things, but you know, we don't need to be talking about for 2 minutes on whether or not to throw a center guard or not. Like, either throw it or you don't. So.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with making a mistake because you're a little bit rushed and because you know you need to save some time. Again, mistakes are not, you know, if there's hardly ever a bad call if you make it perfect.
100%.
We know that.
That's the old adage. There's no bad call if you make them all.
Oof, there's a tricky call.
That was a little nasty.
Played that with the right weight, knowing that it was coming back somehow, keeping 2 corner guards too.
Yeah.
Great shot there.
Yeah, one good one here. It's going to be tough to not give up the deuce here.
And some teams, and I've played on them and I've played against them, some teams, no matter how much time you give them, they're going to use it all.
100%.
And there's nothing wrong with that either. But I mean, 100%. I can tell you in baseball with the, the pitch clock, that was met with some real, negativity from some people and traditionalists maybe. And going to a Jays game now is so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because it's so much faster.
Yeah.
And not that you want to pay all the money to get in and get out, but you don't want to be there for 4 hours.
Oh, I mean, you meet these baseball fans that can sit there and watch 162 games, man. And that takes a special kind of person to be able to do that. But if we want to be able to get new fans in, especially in the day of, instant gratification, and you can just always switch to something else. There's always something else happening. We got to make the game something that, 2 hours. I think that's fair. That's a fair amount of time.
I'm on this. So. We're on the same page there. And there's a great double and roll by Robin Bryden. Not dead buried, chaseable, but if it was dead buried, it might be worse because then probably you'd see Marco freeze on it, and then Ross would really have no choice but to play the run back.
Yeah.
So they are going to chase this and try and roll to the middle, and blank's a possibility. Deuce is a decent possibility. Steel's not looking very likely, but these have straightened up on teams a little bit. I've seen more misses wide inside out, and the miss seems to be to the middle on an overcurl, and they were worried about it, and they barely killed it.
Yeah. Yeah, out of hand, I was with them, but you're right. You see that thing
seems to be maybe a little bit, it's not really unlevel, but it seems to be maybe a little bit what we call dished, which means kind of the sides are high. That would explain why when you go wider, it comes down harder, almost like it's coming downhill again. Yeah. They're not making a fishbowl out there, but it's something we see and leads to lots of different possibilities, which is fun to watch.
Yeah. I think that's it's a little bit of a sign of John Wall, too. He likes to have a lot of curl to the middle. He's one of those guys that you have a tight guard, and something dead buried, and it's still diggable for him. But you start going to the wings, and it does get a little bit straighter out there.
So Ross was originally going to draw to the middle, worried that if I go around the corner and make a good shot and he follows me down, we got a problem. But he has decided to go around his yellow one, looks like.
Yeah. I think as long as you keep this high here, keep this in the top 8 foot, it makes it really tough for Hoesli to put it in a spot. And then it's kind of the old defensive draw. These guys are so good at putting a rock on a pinpoint, Just say, all right, made a good freeze. We're just going to draw this thing to the back 4 foot.
You're forced.
And you're forced, so.
Pretty good there. So a freeze for shot would be extremely precise. Having seen that chase, and they're brothers, so I'm sure they're saying, I know I'm better than you, but you threw that pretty good. So that chase looks pretty hard.
Yeah, he said, we had a lot of issues as growing up as kids, but I won't screw you on the sweep call here like you did to me.
They're looking like they're going to chase it. So
yeah, it's a tough. It's hard to tell from here, but that jam is certainly there.
Yeah, and judging by how the first one ran, you got to get real close to this guard.
Yeah.
Good news is there's no real, even if he does hit the guard, he probably rolls in the rings and wide open 4 foot, you're going to get forced. That's the beauty of winning that draw to the button before the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny coming from Moose Jaw and the World's Rocks they're playing with. I'm a little obsessed with these striking bands right now. They're so small. And you think about those things that people had on their desks where you drop the one ball and it would, have that kinetic thing going on. And I think that's one thing for people when you're at a curling club and just rubs it. But when you're at a curling club and you're looking at striking bands and how lively rocks are going to be, picturing one of those pendulum things and that striking band on those, and what makes that able to have so much energy coming off is because it's such a small striking band. So
it's like a pool ball, right?
It is, yeah. So when you're at your curling club and you're looking at rocks and how bouncy things are going to be, it's looking at how wide are those striking bands? Because I know both of us have been in curling clubs where you see those things and it seems like half the rock is a striking band.
And then you get the big drag too. It's like, watch
huge
this.
drag, yeah.
But I know we talk about, and certain announcers talk about the liveliness of all the rocks, and that we have special rocks here. And it's like, we don't have special rocks here. They're, if your curling club gets new rocks, they're probably going to come from the same place. They're going to come from Caves of Scotland, or they're going to come from Canada Curling Stone.
Yep.
Personally, the best rocks I've seen, especially out of the box, come from Canada Curling Stone over the last 20 years. And
sure,
if you want them in your club, you get them in your club. I mean, the ice here it's different. It's prepared different. It's clipped different. Yep. We sand the rocks different than most clubs, and way more often. Like, sand your rocks every Tuesday, and you can probably, if your ice maker knows what they're doing, you can probably have similar conditions. But
and
not practical.
Selfishly, as like just a member of a curling club, I wish we could get that. I wish we could get that message through. Like, you can't really over sand your rocks. Like, I understand it's a big investment and all that kind of stuff, but it's called curling for a reason. We want to see some curling out there, man.
It's not straightening. So Ross Whyte going to split the rings, go around the red one, and force Team Hoesli to probably just follow this one down, or draw the 4-foot for one. And at the same time, and you're absolutely right, nothing, and I've said, I was out with some buddies, one of the clubs in Winnipeg, and they put us on the outside sheet, and it reminded me of the old days where it wasn't level. There was runs everywhere. It was slow in one spot, fast in another. And the guy's like, how's the ice? And I said, well, you guys are all golfers, right? Like, yeah. It's like, grab your putter and let's go out in the gravel parking lot and we'll make some putts. That's what this feels like to me.
Yeah, 100%.
But I don't want to gust the greens at my golf course either, because I'm not good enough.
Yeah, for sure.
So draw for one here, and some early pressure. I mean, this is one that they would expect to make, a path they've seen. But an important shot nonetheless. No stress this end on Team Whyte, and now Philip Hoesli has to find his way into the 4-foot. Final stone, second end. Hulk 1 and Hulk 2. I don't think they'd be offended if we called them that. That's a compliment in my books.
I would love to have a nickname like that, man.
Not in the cards for me.
Same.
Looks like they liked it right out of the hand, just kind of a heavy clean, and another shot that you don't see missed very often. You don't see anything missed very often, but how good all the skips are at drawing the 4-foot in the button at will. And perfectly done. Single point here for Team Hoesli, and a 1-0 lead after 2 ends. We'll be back after a quick break for third end action.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all three.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
We're back inside the Mattamy Center at the AMJ Players Championship, the crown jewel of the Grand Slam of Curling series. Been here in Toronto for upwards of 10 years, even long enough that I played in this building a handful of times, and it was always fun to come back to Toronto. The Jays season is starting, so teams get to go to a couple Jays games, and Tons of restaurants, lots of action here downtown Toronto. The hotel we stay at is 100 meters from the front door of the Mattamy Center. So a perfect setup here, and crowds over the years have been quite good. Friday night at the Battle of the Sexes, it was jammed in here. Looks like a lot of people have jobs, I guess, through the week in Toronto. It's an expensive city. I guess you need to work. But the crowds will pick up over the weekend. If you're in the area and have never witnessed the Grand Slam of curling, stop by. There's still some tickets. If you're listening overseas because you're a Scottish fan, get on that plane and get over here. The boys, Scottish, there's nobody funnier and more fun than Scottish fans in the stands at a curling event. So we need more of that too. Swiss too, the Hop Swiss. I haven't seen a cowbell yet. Two of the greatest places. I think Canada's the greatest place to curl, but if I was going to name second and third, these two countries would definitely be there, along with probably Japan, another kind of curling crazed country. We've got a 1-0 lead for Team Hoesli. Hasn't been a lot of pressure on Team Whyte yet, but hasn't been a lot of pressure on Team Hoesli either. Just to end the end there. There's a perfect hit and roll after Ewan, lead for Team Whyte, slid into the house on a corner guard. Wasn't happy with himself there. And now we've got kind of a halfway center guard and one buried. We'll see how Ross decides to deal with this. We do have 4 sheets of action, as always. Happens to be 2 men's games, 2 women's games. Home Team Live bringing you all 4 sheets, 2 with commentary on this draw. Tyler George and John Cullen are bringing you the Carrie Einarson and Team Kim matchup here. And see Einarson tapping her broom, not in total disgust, but not happy either. Other men's game is Returnas in the Team Canada pool, having trouble again, down 2-1 without against Team Dunstone. And the other ladies game is Team Tirinzoni versus Team Gim. So we've got nonstop action leading through Friday, 4 draws a day, leading to the playoffs. Saturday, 3 draws. We'll have women's quarterfinals first, men's quarters, and then together the semis on Saturday night and finals on Sunday. Ladies, I believe, is at noon and the men's at 4. So come on down, check it out. We're gonna crown the players champions, and then I'm gonna stick with my story, and it's completely made up. But we're gonna do a Battle of the Sexes Players Championship edition on Monday night. Although we got to go to Nashville, so maybe we have to postpone. So a little over curl there again from Ewan, and opportunity for Team Hoesli here to freeze another one low, even bump that yellow in a little bit and free up the red one would be ideal, and keep 2 red ones kind of buried, and then we're going to see that center guard come back. But the fellas jumped on this one right away, Chris.
Yeah, and that's a couple from Ewan now that have had a little bit of over curl there. So don't know if Ross is just not seeing enough of a set there from Ewan, or if Ross has got to give him a little extra, but a little short there. So it's gonna be opportunity for some fun stuff here. Make a nice hit and roll here and have a good setup at just kind of chasing to give him the 2.
Yeah, that's an unforced error from Simon. He won't be happy with that. Anything in the 8-foot would have been a good place to be.
Yeah, that's one of those there, Brandon, where it's like you can tap it even. It's fine.
Just had to get it kind of on the right line and not be 10 feet heavy or 10 feet light. Unfortunately, he went with the 10 feet light, even with the sweeping end to end. That's one of the other changes we've seen with sweeping, as Duncan's trying to chase this one with back line. I don't know if they have machines that they practice with in Scotland, but it seems like the Scottish teams, both the men's Scottish teams, they don't miss these shots.
They don't. And
oh, I got him. God damn, I have more power than I think. I wasn't trying to do that dunk. A little light maybe. That didn't even.
Yeah, it didn't even roll out. I think you're right. I mean, I do think one of the most impressive thing about the Scots, I mean, obviously, been able to go to their facility in Stirling. I do think that they put some of the toys away when we get there. Just
of course they do.
You know, not give us a total look into it, but there's clearly a lot more going on in Stirling than probably the rest of the world, and just with their ability to all train together. But one of the big things is, I mean, you look at how big these boys are. In my own opinion, you can correct me if you think I'm wrong here, but I think Bobby Lammy is one of the most important players in curling right now. I mean, obviously his shot making speaks for itself, but what he can do to steer those board waders. And it kind of reminds me of Tornes a couple of years ago when they were winning all those slams where everything was coming at 11. You know, even run backs, it was a lot of soft weight stuff, and they were just able to hold a rock on a line kind of. And I think that's what the Scots are bringing. It's just they're even with, you know, not to get into the whole foam gate thing, but even with traditional post Broomgate foam that everyone was kind of comfortable with, their ability to navigate stones down the ice is at a very elite level. He does not look happy with this.
No, not sure if they couldn't hear or Dunk didn't want that one swept. That's for sure. He's not going to kill anything here. That's going to jam, isn't it?
Not far enough.
So not a good start here for Team Whyte. And you talk about their training center in Sterling, and it has become mythical around the world, right? I mean, you start to think, well, there's only one way that Team Mount can be that much better than us. They must have something I don't have.
Yeah.
That's what we convince ourselves of.
Yeah.
I think the word that maybe they have that some don't is maybe just a little bit more commitment.
Yeah, I mean, having conversations with those boys, it's pretty unbelievable. Anybody that wants to be a part of the Scottish curling group, I mean, they are on the ice. It's 6 to 8 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week.
No wonder everything's automatic.
And it's as much as we can convince ourselves that, I went to the club every day and threw rocks, and I went to the gym and lifted some weights. I mean, it's different when you have a team surrounding you 365 that, you know, and just the amount of analytics that go into everything and the amount of numbers that they're processing. You know, it's probably the new wave of what's coming for the rest of us. You know, I'm glad I'm old.
Right, we're on the way out. That sounds like a lot of work. This is real tight. Can't hit the guard here.
Jeepers creepers.
I don't want it. You take it. No, you take it. And this is kind of what we saw yesterday. So I think the ice is just not quite what the teams are expecting, because we know they're capable of making all these shots. But I think it's huge that back red one. I think they're line 3. So
yeah.
And before anybody gives the excuse, as Canadians, and I don't know if the American curling fans, I don't know if all 25 of those, just kidding, are have the same excuse, but you always hear, well, they're professionals. It's like, well, let me break the news down to you. They're professionals, but they're not making any money.
No, it's
all they do, so that's why it's their profession.
Yep.
But none of these guys, guess what they're going to do when they stop curling? They're going to go get a job.
Yeah.
Because they're going to need to, because they're going to have no money left.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that's the common misconception with, I mean, you look at the tear that Nick's been on for the last handful of years at Worlds, and it's, well, they're professional. Well, yeah, okay, fair enough. They're
starving professionals. They're like professionals like any Olympic athlete, like our kayakers and our marathoners and speedwalkers in every sport. It's like curling's just catching up to their other sports.
100%.
It takes full-time commitment to be the best in the world at something.
And I think that's what makes Olympic sports so cool, is that when you see somebody at the Olympic Games, it's not they're not there. They don't have foreign cars in the garage. They don't have multiple houses. Like, they're there because they dedicated their whole damn life to getting to this moment. And yeah, like you said, whether that's kayaking or whether that's bobsled or whether that's something else, I mean, these folks are doing it because they are 100% chasing a dream. And I think that's the coolest, like the most interesting part of Olympic sports, honestly.
Big shot here as Team Whyte has flipped the end on its head a little bit, making a perfect hit and roll. So Marco's saying, you know what? We've got 2 centers and 1 top 8. I can get around that yellow one to the button and finally put a little pressure on him. Can't go behind the T line because there will be a double off the wide one, and they've got this one diving again. Every shot to the middle has been a little bit tight.
And that's like, I don't know if they're going to want to chase that. I mean, you freeze on that. I mean, I guess I don't know how much you can see that yellow, but that in off, that double is, for how hard these guys can throw it, it's probably there. I don't know how much it gives you, but
freeze, bump. If the double was there and made, you'd lie kind of too buried, but they're probably going to throw that freeze in there. So
yeah, for sure.
They tried this. This is where Duncan's over curled.
A little too deep, though. I mean, it's one of those things now where no matter where you go, that right rock bite or half in the 8-foot there is high enough where whatever you throw in there, they're going to be able to have access to the middle. Just want to say too, like I got a little personal beef with Robin Bryden.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, like
Let's
I thought
talk
it was,
about it. Is it about the tattoos?
Yeah,
or what
it is.
Is it?
It is. Yeah. And now we got some Koreans coming out with sleeves.
You used to be cool and like the only cool guy out here.
I thought I was so cool, and now Robin has to come out and not only like I probably have cooler tattoos than me, but also be better at curling than me. So yeah, I got a little bit of beef with the old. And I will say, better hairline than Robin, but
You had to go there. Right? You got to win at something.
You got to be good at. You got to be better than him at something. But just a terrific human being.
Gonna play the chase here. See what they learned on Duncan's, and when this is made, Duncan will just slide by Robin and say, "That's just a sweeping difference. You were tight on mine. I was tight on yours. You made it, and I missed."
100%. A little bit of a jump.
They lost it.
Yeah, you see that? It jumped a little bit, like just in front of the hog line. You could see that.
They were not concerned about that at all.
No.
And that's a huge miss. Doesn't move the guard. That's the dreaded feather tick, as you can see. Like, doesn't even hardly move the red, but just redirects the yellow.
I think even if he got by that,
was going to hit the yellow.
Yeah, like it was curling in there hard.
Now a huge chance, because that in-off might be there, but if you got 2 in there, it's pretty hard to play it.
Yeah.
So Philip with his first here going to try and follow Marco's path and get right onto the nose of Shot Rock, even a little bit across it probably.
And Brian, you played with him. You know, somebody that Ross reminds me a little bit of is like vintage Kevin Cooey, in the fact that you can't tell if he's up 3, down 5, looking at just an absolute mess. Like just the way he carries himself is very, very Kevin Cooey-ish.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Not much emotion, but you still look at him and you think, that guy's ready to kill me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
This looks real bad.
Yeah, this is not going to help their cause here.
Oh, just way too heavy.
That's I think even the Italians would call that a meatball there, Brent.
Yeah, that's a check. Pass. So Ross isn't racing to play that chase, though. I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like when they were sweeping that thing in there, I saw that quick break there, but I think with how strong these boys are, there's some carve to be had out there.
For sure.
So, I mean, get by the guard. You know, you don't have to be too cute by the guard. It looks like you can see a piece of it anyways, and you got a lot of room to roll to.
You throw back line and you get within 6 inches of that guard, you're gonna chunk it pretty big and lie to.
Yeah, I don't like this like hit and roll that Robin's talking about. Like just hit and roll to the GSOC logo there on the right and take your 2 and move on.
I guess if you're really feeling frisky and made that double, you'd have a chance at 3, but don't make the double. He's not going to throw another one, you know, out the back door.
No.
So they've found it, and Ross is going to say, "Okay, guys,
yeah,
I'll show you how to make this one."
Yeah.
The only explanation would be that they think there's maybe a spot in the ice, and when we had the real crazy brooms, they actually would leave tracks.
Yeah.
So it was possible that we saw peels go the wrong way when they were really scratching the ice.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not there yet, but there could be a knee print or something, or because it's pretty strange that they would miss the line call like that.
Man, that was the worst. That was the worst time ever. That was the closest I ever came to quitting curling.
It was nuts.
Where it's like you're telling me I can throw a perfect rock and catch someone's sweep and just lose a well thrown rock. Man, he throws a buttery.
So trying to, for the 3rd time this end, and I would have expected them to sweep this one almost by on the wide side and make sure you don't hit the guard. This is getting tight too. Oh my. got by, but not by very much. And just like you said, roll to the G-sock. And in talking with the guys last night, they were asking what Jen, my wife Jen, and I, what our theory is on technical. And I was like, well, if I was teaching somebody, I would teach them to throw like you guys. You know, everything in a line from the toe where you're sliding from, nothing leaves the line of delivery. There's no left or right. It's a north-south game. And they're like, oh, okay, so you like what Murdoch teaches? I said, yeah, absolutely. I like what he's bringing over. And I don't know where we lost our way, but if you're trying to get from A to B, I used to think that a straight line was the best way.
Yeah, totally.
And simplicity is best, so that takes care of both of those. And so a chance for a hit and roll here. There's room to roll for shot right in behind the yellow, but then like you said, Chris, they're going to have access off the wide one, but that's all Philip can do here is hit and roll to the back 4 foot, make Ross make that double, see if they get caught in this spot. It's a similar spot.
Yeah, I think he wished he could have rolled that another 1.5 feet. This looks like it's over curling a little bit. Oh, he's good.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Now we're going to see the double. No choice. He's not going to draw for 1 when this is probably easier and for 2. So.
Yeah.
Did you have a turn preference on these?
I like the out turn here. I know a lot of people like it, but just the action and just where you need to hit it, so just a little bit more natural.
You see a lot of people take the in turn here, and then the tendency is you miss it thick.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, this is absolutely makeable with the in-turn as well. But one of my biggest pet peeves in curling is when you have this be a little bit flatter, and guys want to throw that in-turn.
I run out of steam.
Oh, it's just like, are you Jason Gudlickson? Like, can you throw it 5 seconds?
There's only one gunner, but there's guys that can throw it 5, but not the way Gunner does. So.
Oh, there's guys that just think they have so much more power than they have, and it's like, I'm not saying that they can't throw it hard, but you need to be able to hit it so hard throwing that across the face.
Final stone here in the third, half rock double for Ross Whyte. Uh-oh. Oh, he missed it. And a big steal for Team Hoesli. Again, an overcurl. Kind of surprised. Seemed like they liked it, but at any event, after 3, we've got Team Hoesli up 2-0 on Team Whyte, and we'll be back right after this for the 4th end action.
The rock faces around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Pullman, Mowat, Gushu, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and après curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock.
Back inside the Mattamy Center, we got all the action for you at the AMJ Players Championship, and a surprise, I would say. I'm surprised when any of these teams, best 12 men's, best 12 women's teams in the world, I'm surprised when they miss a makeable shot like that. But Ross Whyte had about a half rock double for 2 and overcurled, give up the steal of 1 and a big break for Team Hoesli, who's now up 2-0. And what are you seeing happening out here, Chris? Who are you taking from here? The 2-point lead, I mean, it's starting the game. I would have given the edge to Team Whyte. Now, you got to give the advantage, obviously, to Hoesli. A 2-point lead is not insurmountable, but great start for them on the board anyway.
Yeah, I think it'll make for some more interesting curling, I think, in N4. Whyte's going to have to push and take a little bit more risk to get that, make sure they score multiple here. You know, I think if Whyte can get a deuce here, I still like those boys' chances. But I mean, Hoesli, man, since this year, I mean, they have turned the Jets on, and they've put the world on notice that they're for real. I think them and Muscadovitz both, you know, I think one thing, just as a personal opinion, that, and part of me, you know, love these guys but hate this about them, is, you know, they've turned curling into a July start.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think the Swiss, the Germans, there's a few other countries where they're pushing the start of these seasons so early, and there's a lot of points to be had early in the year. And I do think that in the past you've seen that, where some of these folks from this part of the world will come out super hot because they've been on the ice so much. But it is frustrating. I personally, I yearn for the days of October to February. Yeah, no, they've definitely made a change in the map of curling and how seasons are structured now with the way that they take on things, and made it pretty much a year-round commitment.
I'm with you on that one, but it's inevitable and it's here to stay. Perfect 4 shots by both leads here. Center guard, corner guard, top button around, perfect freeze from you and Kyle. And I'm going to try and again follow this down. Want this to get right to the nose for Philip. If he leaves it high side or over curls, you know that center guard's coming straight back.
100%.
And it's a little high side, so could freeze on the nose again. That's the old school. That's the Epping call. He still does it. Cooey would still freeze right on the nose and really kind of put you in some heat because you can't kill anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this week we're all taking Epping's. We're all taking Epping's advice with their
steamrolling so far. 2-0.
Yeah.
Took down Jacobs and McEwen. He's going to win the Canadian pool here. We got a Canadian pool with the Italian Stallions. Italian Stallions aren't really stallioning at the moment, though. I blame the coach. You can't fire players because there aren't any more players to fill in. So
I mean, talk about a guy with big enough biceps that I don't want to get hit by. I'm gonna.
Fry's in the hot seat. We're putting Fry in
hands.
Freeze right on the nose here for Duncan, and big trouble for the Swiss fellas.
The line looks really nice.
Pretty good. You can afford to bounce it too, as long as the line's good. And yeah,
that'll do.
So, what do we like, fellas? I don't see anything great. Smash it and hope that the top 4 goes out and yours stays maybe. Middle one's going to stay probably. Needs some help on this one. This is where a discussion's needed.
Yeah, 100%.
We could.
It's one of those things, man, where, like, I think David Bowie and Michael Jackson still had albums coming out when I was born, and I mean, these young guys, like, I think the difference is a bit too is that this is all they know, like
completely.
When you come up in a thing and you come up through curling and this is when the season starts. Like, it's harder to sell that to some folks that have, you know, I mean, we come from the days when there's
old
farmers.
People. You can call us old people, Chris.
Yeah.
We can take it.
Yeah, we're old, man. Like,
yeah, farmers used to rule the world.
Farmers ruled the world. It was like crops aren't done until October. That's when we're starting
curling. So we don't curl
curling.
the prairies till October. And
yeah.
Big chance here. Duncan trying to chip the guard and roll in. It's not enough for these guys to peel the guard. We do it with like backline weight now. So we get a kicker and spins it behind the corner guard just like that.
That'll do.
And pay attention here, Team Hoesli. There are a lot of yellows, and your reds are all real close together.
Yeah.
And I don't see how to get rid of very many yellows. Like, you're almost running that corner guard and rolling into the mess, I think.
Yeah, you could absolutely run that corner and kind of roll into the middle there.
I don't see much else good. Are you going to guard it? You could. I think you're asking for trouble, but they...
Yeah, it looks like that's what they're going to do.
They're going to do it, so don't miss any of these shots then. It's fine to play aggressive. One half shot here, and you're going to see some reds disappear, and there's going to be a lot of yellows in there.
Yeah, buckle up.
I don't think the red double on the top two, the top 12, like half 8, and the top 8, full 8 is there, so they're probably trying to guard that yellow one, the higher yellow one. So if they were able to nose that, it would be trouble. Just above the AMJ, a long-time supporter of curling all across Canada, but especially in Ontario, the old AMJ Campbell Shorty Jenkins Classic. You've been to that one a bunch, I'm sure.
A bunch of times, yeah. Yeah.
That used to be the first event of the year. Third weekend in September, bring your golf clubs. First time my slider hit the ice every year.
Oh, man. Terrific golf course, too.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Hurt like hell. You're blowing out hamstrings, and that's the way it used to be.
Absolutely. The karaoke on Saturday night. Jeez Louise. I mean, when the dollar was more on par, man, I used to hate winning games because it was like, now I have to buy a $30 pitcher. This is tough. This is tough sledding, man.
Ross motioned that he thinks that he can make that red double, so that guard is even more risky.
Yeah. Man, if you pick that thing,
even if it touches that, he's right. It still will probably get both reds. And
looks like they must be throwing this pretty hard.
Yeah, firm weight or even peel. And if the shooter gets by the guard and stays in the rings, lots of reds are leaving town. At least I'd say 2 are going to be gone, and there's still going to be 4 yellows.
That is really close.
Okay, I'd hate the guard if that's still there. I guess there's a double back. Then there's going to be another double, and they're going to lie 3 here.
Yeah, good spot to be. I'd definitely rather be yellow right now.
I don't think they have much choice here but to make that double and hope it spins up a little, but not too much that they can just chase the back one.
Yeah, I think you want to try and kind of nut that double and show them half maybe.
That'd be
it's
perfect.
Not enough to make contact with the one in the 4-foot, but
they don't look very worried. Marco looks like this is no problem. I'll just whip this down here, make this double, and
I have a hard time questioning anything with a guy that wears glasses like that. I mean, he's like I already feel like he knows better than I do.
Outsmarted?
Yeah.
Reminds me a little bit of old Marcus Egler from Switzerland.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, that was almost really good, but
this is maybe you make the double here. Does he have enough of that, Brent?
I don't think the straight red double. Probably going to make it off the yellow softer, and the yellow's going to go dead buried on the replay here. He's over curled, hit this too thin, a little thinner, and it might have came right back to the nose there, and that would have been. Then you might have saw Ross take his hand out of his pocket at least.
Yeah, no doubt.
Get really mad.
No doubt.
Quarter stone. Oh, they're just going to whip it. Need to be more precise.
Yeah.
Whipping it, but that's what these guys train to do, so.
It does seem like if you hit it a little thin, that top yellow might go.
But you have to hit it thin to save your shooter on the side.
This is going to be thin.
Oh my, right behind the other corner guard.
That'll do just fine.
Yeah, that's a little bit of all right. Can't make the double on the wide too. You can see the replay here. Hits it nice and thin, and watch the top 4 yellow one. Goes straight sideways and spins in behind the corner.
This is one of those, Brent, do you like, if he has enough of it, do you like just trying to roll behind that red one? Give him that kind of make the double and roll for 3, or I just think rolling to the middle, it's such a small spot that you have.
He's going to play the run back here.
Jeepers.
It's the only way to, I don't think he can see enough to get to the nose with the rocket to make the double.
Yeah.
The high side double's got to go all the way across the rings and is ultra thin.
Yeah.
This is not a shot that if I was curling or on any team I've played on that we would consider.
I didn't honestly even consider this.
No, it's
this
too
run
late
here.
in the end to me, but he's probably going to make this.
Third's first. Like, I think this is
maybe
a reasonable selection. But
let's see what he's got for us, though. First skip stone for Team Hoesli. See what Philip can do here. Trying to run the yellow into probably about a third of the top yellow and spill them all. Shooter's going to come over towards the top 12 red one. Needs to make contact in the house here, though.
He's over curling big time.
Killed one, but this is now really looking like a 3.
Yeah. Question is now, like, I think Ross's broom.
That'd be the best spot.
It's a pretty good spot.
He might play the intern through the hole and split that one, shooter behind the top red one, but then you give him a chance to make a 4-footer and stick it, and you got to make a double all of a sudden.
Yeah. I like that back 8 on the K of Let's Rock. I mean, you throw that thing there. It's a pretty good spot.
Kind of force him to make that hit and roll perfect. If he does, you got a bit of a problem, but
yeah, it's kind of one of those shots where I think instinctually you want to throw it to the middle, but there's so many bad places to put it. I mean, you're setting up so pretty right now. There's no double. You throw it to the middle, he makes a little hit and roll. You can't see enough of it, and all of a sudden you're forced real quick.
Or an accidental steal.
Yeah.
Big swing in this game. But so Robin suggested, what if we throw the out-turn draw kind of edge on edge with the guard, top 8? I could get behind that. And even if it overcurls a little, as long as we leave enough open that we have a runner if he draws or if he hits and rolls. I don't think they're drawing. Worried about that out, that the perfect hit and roll will be top 4, top button even buried. Can we chase it?
Yeah.
Because if we can't, right where Robin's broom is really good. And even if it stayed open and you left him a nose double, you're still going to get 2.
And I think we saw a couple over curls earlier in the game, but from what I've seen, chasing anything around that guard with hack weight, I think is still there. So you'd hate to make that space bigger for him to roll to right now. I mean, personally, I still love that spot. That I just don't know how you get there.
In-turn to the K, back 8.
Yeah.
Probably a wide in-turn or out-turn over curl. I mean, it's not curling like crazy, but
yeah.
I just always hate drawing
you throw that
through
back.
the button around a center guard to try and be behind the tee line.
100%, yeah. But you throw that thing, I mean, it just has to be, full 12 foot in the back. I'm like, what do you do?
You're burning some time. Yeah, you force them to play that hit and roll, and they're not sure if they want to force them to play that hit and roll. Because it's not like they don't see the shot. They're like, okay, we could go here, and he either makes the roll, or maybe you can entice him into a double.
Yeah.
And then if he makes the double, you have an open hit for 2.
Do you ever play the hit and roll big off the red?
You could.
And just roll massive. I guess the only thing is
probably
you
going to leave a double.
Might leave it, and yeah, it'd be really unfortunate if you roll to the top of the 8 foot and leave some sort of triple or something like that. But I mean, you take away probably his best out from what I can see here.
I like this shot. I just don't want to see it buried. If we're going to make a mistake here, I want to see it under curl and make him make a nose double or something, and then we get our deuce.
Yep, for sure.
So if it is going to under curl, though, don't leave it in a spot where he can nose it, make the double, be shot, and we have to roll for second. But I guess if that's the case, there's going to be a pair of pants double.
Yeah.
So lots of good spots here. I talked myself into it. So after a long discussion for Team Whyte, burnt at least 3 minutes off the clock. But these guys generally play fast, so that's the beauty of playing fast. We got Ross Whyte's first here in the 4th end. Looking to put a crooked number up on the board, drawing to lie 3, and if they make it really good, I don't see how you get out of giving up 3.
Yeah, this is... Looks like the weight's there.
Looks like they're concerned.
They gotta go.
Really gotta go. Gotta lie 3 here. Line's perfect.
That's pretty good. I mean, deuce at the best.
No double. Like the double, you gotta go through the guard. Do you ever draw to where his broom is? How are you feeling? You feeling lucky there, bro?
Oof. I think I like that out turn hit and roll. Try and rolls, show him half. Or not show him half, but roll to the kind of center, split and center line, make him at least make the angle. I mean, unless he has enough to roll to the right. I mean, that'd be
on
pretty
shot rock,
nice.
you mean?
Yeah, on shot rock.
I think I'd be looking at that wide one if I'm playing a hit and roll back 4, back 8, like anything behind that wall. And you got to, I know it's a 6-8 foot roll, but there's a 3 foot wall that you can roll behind, and you'll have them forced to 2, which they would sign up for right now if you negotiated. That's not a big enough hole for me, but no timeout. So big situation here in the 4th end after a well-played end by Team Whyte. A couple of mistakes by Team Hoesli.
Yeah, just not sharp coming back.
Not this end. After a big break, you generally get together as a team. You're like, okay, boys, that's a gift. Let's put the hammer down now, and let's force them to 1 here and really take the wind out of their sails and make them feel like they're battling uphill.
Yeah, and looking at the overhead, that hole looks a lot smaller than it does like looking down the sheet.
It's true. Nice split screen there. You can see it. If you could see by the hulks there. That's the little guy that you can't see by on the right. He's only 6'2", 195.
Yeah.
Somebody talked about it at least. If we drew it way back here.
Yeah.
Sebastian Stock looks like under the black hat there.
Yeah.
German transplant. Played against Sebastian in juniors. So he's just getting to his prime age in life too. He wasn't born in the 2000s.
No.
He's born in the 70s, baby.
Oh, is that what they're electing to do then? They're going to draw way back there. Man, it does seem like you got to really overbury this thing because he's got space in between the red guard and the yellow in the top 12, so that straight runner is still there.
This isn't a shot that's on my selection board either. You're up to. There's a hit and roll. I know it's tough, but I would take on the wide hit and roll, and if you make a really good shot and steal a point back here, but not steal like on the board, but
even a 3, you're still, it's 4-end game. You know, down 1.
This is more exciting for us though. Come on, this is perfect.
Oh, wait,
he's
hitting and rolling. The hit and roll.
Just holding the broom in a weird spot. So found the right shot. Looked tight right away though.
Yeah, this looks like
seems like a walk away situation, but no, they like it. Hello. He is going to be shot.
Jeez,
how do we like them apples?
Louise. Okay.
Kind of a little bit unlucky where it stayed with that angle.
Just got through the hole for 3 then.
Yeah. I thought, again, maybe I'm just scared. I'm not as good as these guys, obviously, but I would probably play that. Kind of, there's a couple places to hit it and jam it into the yellow and roll it off for 2. But like this through the hole, how do you get 3 anyway? You got to throw like hack?
You got to throw hack, and I think just get close to the red.
That's not a hole that I'm going to get hack weight through very often. But a great shot there. Great team shot, good conversation, well played timeout, and I didn't think he would roll in for shot. I thought it would be about a rock behind.
Yeah.
So final stone, 4th end, and
that's about as good as he could do, I think, right there.
Kind of a must make here, as stupid as that sounds in the 4th end for Ross Whyte, but here it comes. This spot's not going to take off. Should be able to hold it, especially if you're as big as you and Kyle. Straight curl sounds pretty damn good.
That'll do.
Just not a game I ever played, this curling game that's out there right now. And a fantastic shot for Ross Whyte as he tosses his broom and says, I'm out of here, boys. You fill it in from here. But you can see not a lot of air on either side there. Like that's an inch on either side, and just a well-called and great finish to the 4th end in the first half of the game. And that puts Team Whyte back on top 3-2. We're going to take a quick break and come back for the second half action.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mice. Eat locally, enjoy casually.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all three.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
Rio Mare. Great taste needs little. Prime quality tuna and selected olive oil. Rio Mare, the real taste of Italy.
Live action here. Fifth and second half of this Team Whyte, Team Hoesli has turned into an interesting game after a bit of a slow start, but 3-2 lead after 4, and you said you picked Whyte 15 minutes ago when it was 2-0, and now you're looking like a genius, Chris. I got to give you props. See how Team Hoesli can respond. That's not a...
No, this ain't over by any means.
No, not even close. I mean, they're only down 1, but they felt like they were fortunate to probably be up 2, and then, you know, if you give up 2 there, you've got the hammer back, 4-end game against one of the top couple teams in the world, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
Yeah.
And now you feel a little bit like you're chasing, but they didn't throw the corner guard here, and which tells me they're wanting to kind of keep the blank alive. Don't want to go crazy here. They would love to probably blank 5 and then take their chances of getting a deuce and 6.
Yeah, I agree.
You follow the analytics closely, you know, Team Schuster. You don't have to give away all your secrets.
Yeah, no, I think we do. Like the coach that we brought in the last couple years is super analytical. And I mean, I won't give away our secrets in the fact that I think what he does is
better.
Yeah. He's just, I mean, a cool story, honestly. Kind of a club curler. You know, like a good club curler, like really takes curling seriously, but a guy that just loves curling and has dove head first into this whole thing with us, and pretty amazing. I think I'm kind of with like the baseball guys, where I think there's a a space for analytics, but I do think sometimes we get kind of taken by the numbers sometimes, and sometimes there is that, you know, I mean, I think about the World Series a few years ago when Tampa pulled their pitcher in the 7th when he's dealing, or 8th and he's dealing. You know, analytics say one thing, but I do feel like sometimes we get lost in there is something about like the human spirit and just kind of going with your gut. But yeah, no, we use a lot of numbers. I don't know what they were playing here.
Ooh.
This is gone.
Light and tight. Wonder if they've got a couple different stones, or if.
I feel like that's the second time he's had one that's just kind of.
That's the same spot, the same direction. I don't know.
But yeah, no, I think there's a space for analytics, but I also do miss a little bit just the
feeling it out, eh?
Yeah, like a feeling of momentum, or feeling where you're at in the game, and making moves based on kind of what your gut's telling you.
What would Nolan Ryan say if somebody came out and said, "Sorry, Nolan, it's time to pull you out"?
He'd probably put you in a headlock, and I'd hope I wasn't the guy in the headlock.
Have you seen his documentary? I never started a game that I didn't intend to finish.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a bit of a warrior mentality. I like it.
100%, man. I mean, you think about like Blackjack Morris back in the day too. I mean,
Johnny Moe named his kid after Jack Morris.
Yeah, I mean,
true story, little Jack.
You're not taking me out of this moment. Like I'm good. Are you good? Because I like that. And those kind of stories aren't possible without having folks that have that kind of mentality. I don't care what the numbers say. I'll get out of this.
I think Hoesli, maybe this is a perfect example of, you know, is analytics the answer? They had them in trouble there. Hooked guards. I know it's a center guard. Your shot rock, you've got third shot. What if you froze another one on the red, or you know, just draw by that one and freeze on the yellow, and really put the gears to them? Because I don't care if it's even or odd. If I got a chance for 3, I would love to take it.
100%.
So now I think if I'm Whyte, I'm not. It's still a good situation. The good news is he saved the corner guard. So Hoesli's not in any trouble here, and still has a chance for a soft deuce, is what I would call it. This one's curling too. Needs this to get by, or it might stay. Just gotta go.
Oh, just enough.
So now it's going to be a pretty good chance at a blank, probably, but also a chance at a deuce. No real danger of a steal is the good news, and that's really what they're trying to get at, is keep the hammer into the even ends in 6, and then kind of get a deuce and force and have the hammer coming home tied. That's what we all want starting the game.
100%.
Yeah, Marco just sends me for a loop. He always holds the broom on the tee line.
Yeah, it's. I was just about to make a comment about that as well.
Even on the hits where normally 99% of skips would hold it on or beside the rock you're trying to hit.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter, but
I have a hard time with that. I don't know, just I understand holding the broom behind it, and so you can see, you know, a better view of the line and such, but I have a hard time trying to make an angle run, right? when he's standing 15 feet behind the rock. It's like, you may as well just go sit on the backboards and have a cocktail.
Just move your broom. Yeah, I got a visual here. I need to look at the rock. So this is going to be a game of cat and mouse now. Hit and roll, hit and roll, hit and roll. Hoesli is still shot, so eventually Team Whyte's going to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Team Whyte would love to force to 1 here.
Absolutely.
I would call that not a soft force. That's a cheesy force. Like, never really took any risk to get a deuce and end up with a force. That's the most frustrating maybe end in curling to me. If we're going to get forced, at least make it because we went after a deuce.
Yeah.
If we're going to get forced and just kind of played it safe, that drives me to drink.
Absolutely.
Into third stones here, and Team Hoesli just kind of content to hit and stay on this rock. I don't think they want to roll over towards it yet, but it wouldn't hurt them if they really do want to blank. They're going to have to make probably a double at some point if they're going to blank, because there's too many rocks in the house. Really hard on the curl here, needs to stay. Pretty good. And Ross may switch to hitting and rolling on the back one now, or does he knows that it's not in the rings?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna have to make a decision here.
Any roll towards the center, it should be in the rings. Hit and roll right in front of the frozen.
I don't hate that.
Frozen, but yeah, hit and roll kind of splitting center and be no double really on the yellows. They'll hit and roll again probably, but.
Yeah. It is funny. I normally playing in these things, I don't get a chance to watch a ton. And it's kind of funny how some guys, when they're throwing the rock, they look like they're really thinking hard. Robin looks like he's thinking hard and he's throwing the rock here.
I think there's some intensity in there. He doesn't show it often, but
No.
I think there's some fire in there.
100%.
I think when he had hair, it might have been a little red.
It had to have been.
Yeah.
It had to have been. And a new father now?
Yeah, soon. I think soon, coming up. Is that in the rings? I think. Yeah.
Just
Ooh,
short.
just out. All the Scottish guys keep the spirit of the game, the sportsmanship. There's nothing in all the Scottish people I've curled against over the years. There's nothing that's more disrespectful than poor sportsmanship to them. I've always really loved that, but they play harder than as hard as anybody at the same time.
100%, man. My favorite curler of all time is Ewan McDonald.
Yeah, I thought that would have been my guess once you said that after.
Yeah, Ewan.
Salt of the earth, right?
Oh, I remember when I was like 20 years old and I hadn't done absolutely jack in the sport of curling.
Junior champ, come on.
Yeah, a world junior champ. But that guy made me feel so special.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that team, I'm sure you ran into them a ton over the years with Muddy and Ewan and Ewan and Peter. I mean, just competitors. Yeah, so I also just love the fact the first free curling broom I ever got was a Hammer XL from Killiam Industries, and so there's a part of that with Ewan too, like hearing that grind,
the loud slide.
Yeah.
So with that one not being in the ring, he's going to chase the top one and lie two, and very comfortable situation now for the Swiss Stallions.
I mean, good news is here. I think you can make the double and the roll and make him make something.
Wanted to hit that either thinner and miss the second one, or hit it thicker and chip the second one harder. But also a double that sometimes you're going to roll out. But there's a couple of force guards. So an interesting situation. Not super exciting, other than if you're a kind of a bit of a curling nerd. Because it doesn't look like this is anything to think about, but you double and roll out.
Yeah.
What's Hoesli going to do? They're probably going to hit and roll in off that tight yellow one.
Yeah, super kind of basic shot, but one of those shots where, like, yeah, if you do follow it closely and you play a lot, like this double, and I mean this is a big shot here. This is a great opportunity to force if you could ever make this.
Can roll this top four right behind the yellow, and then Hoesli's going to have to make that yellow double, and if he doesn't roll in the rings, then there'll be a free come around to force. And if Hoesli gets forced to one here, their chances, and I'm not an analytics expert, their chances go down, I would say, quite drastically of winning this game. This looks tight.
Yeah, you could.
Ooh, Roscoe, uncharacteristic again. Overcurled twice there on the out turn inside out.
You could kind of see that one out of his slide. Like, he looked like he was fighting that. Like, he popped
We better
that
give
a
him
little
some
harder.
tips after. Tell him we saw something, and we get a little hitch in your giddy up there.
Yeah, hey, Ross, you might want to try sliding at the broom. But
it's really easy from up here.
Yeah, I've never missed a shot from up here. But it looked like he was fighting that one a little bit. Set that a little harder than he set the other shots. So great shot of Deuce here is going to be
hit and roll right behind the yellow. You could, or nose would leave a double for Ross. It would be tough or a little thinner, but
I like being aggressive at this roll here.
Sure, I don't see why not. There's no kind of hit and roll on the shot rock, even if you did roll right out. Roll way over to the other GSOC logo. First skip stone. Philip Hoesli control weight or something, trying to carve this one.
Oh, he looks pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's real good. Keep going. Keep going. Why would you stop?
All right. Well, I mean, you make this hit and roll.
Yeah, I would have kept like another rock or two there. It would have been even better.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to be rolling that way, you may as well take her.
So a pretty, not a straightforward, not an easy shot by any means, but not complicated. A straight hit and roll behind the yellow to get out of a little bit of trouble and to go a long way into getting control of this game. Hammer and 6 tied would be a great spot for Team Whyte. Sounds close. Sounds perfect. Got to sit. Oh, just missed the line, Colin.
Yep.
We're seeing that more, again, broken record here, but seeing that more this week than we normally do. And it's just a little bit, generally it's on the over curl going to the middle and the under curl going to the wings. So if these teams aren't watching me and listening to us, Chris, then what are they really doing?
100%.
We're giving you all the answers you need to win the spiel.
How much time do you have between games? What are you doing?
How many naps can you take? I mean, that's the best part of curling still. You don't get as many naps commentating. So pretty much wide open. I mean, maybe edge on edge or something, but
very routine for sure.
And not maybe their end goal, but would have been option B. I think you take a deuce anytime you can. They played it to get a blank, caught a break or two, made some good shots, and now it's time to cash in. Board weight.
Looks like they like it.
Weight's good. That's a weight you can do pretty much whatever you want with these two guys on the brooms. Needs to finish a little, hanging a little. No problem, and that's 2 on the board, and the seesaw battle continues. That's going to be a 4-3 lead for Team Hoesli after 5 ends, so we'll come back with the 6th end action where Team Whyte will have the hammer and need to score a couple of points. Come back right after this. Sixth end live action. I'm Brent Lang alongside Chris Plies. I think you were voted the 2010 sexiest American Olympic athlete. Is that true?
I was, what do they call it? Stud of the day.
Oh, nice.
Stud of the day.
Nice.
And that was when I was in ESPN The Body, the magazine.
Look at you. See?
I was in that.
We're with royalty here, American royalty. That doesn't happen to Canadian curlers.
I ate salads then, man. I ate salads then. It's funny, man. It's funny how time goes by, because like I feel like I'm an old guy now in this whole thing, and seeing all these guys come up, and yeah, like how fast time goes, man.
It's kind of scary, right?
It certainly is.
But here we are. Well, we got our first final. Team Returnas last year looked unbeatable in these Grand Slams, and this year it's Struggleville, and I was joking when I said blame Fry, but I'm not sure. The game I did watch at the Worlds, they were just making little mistakes, and you can't afford to do that. Little sweeping mistakes, a little overthrow, miss it the wrong way, and once you get on that roll, momentum works both ways.
It does. And you wonder, I mean, like, I haven't talked to the boys at all, and clearly it's still a very, very good team, like, no question about it. I mean, you see Retorna's on the lineup, and you got to get up for that game, but, you know, you wonder how much the Olympic, like hosting the Olympics and stuff, has to play in that.
Sure. They are the home team. They had their spot, and not that they'd take their foot off the gas, but it could be a little bit of that, or it could be just a little bit of the pressure.
Just the pressure leading in. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot going to it, especially after Ramos and Stefania go out and win a gold. You know, I know we deal with that in the U.S. a ton. Hoesli and the boys go out and get a gold, and now that all of a sudden that's the standard.
That's the expectation.
Yeah. And it's hard to explain to people that don't know curling that
was a fluke. I know. I try to explain it to people all the time.
I wasn't going to say that.
Just kidding, John.
I know the boys are watching. But yeah, no, it's hard to explain that, like, hey, the shit is hard. And it's to win an Olympic gold is something that every single 10 teams that's there, like, that's been their goal since they threw their first curling rock. And when you run into these guys, that weight is heavy. I mean, I joined the boys after they won their gold, and I know I certainly felt that.
I bet.
As an expectation where it's like, okay, well,
you didn't get the jewelry, you just got the luggage that came with it.
like Ty's over here commentating curling games, and that's not going to let that.
That's that tough chase. Like, Whyte's real good, got pretty close to the guard, and that's a real bad result. Again, huge advantage for Team Whyte. But
yeah. Now every time we lose, Ty just goes, yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's fine, man. I kind of quit at the right time.
Yeah, I played good. Yeah. What's your thoughts on the state of Canada curling right now?
Oh, we need to quit. We're terrible. I think that, the success over the years has just created a bit of a monster. And I think for those that actually follow Canadian curling, if you look at our top 4 or 5 teams that are here, our top 5 teams this week, any one of them could win this week, and any one of them could not qualify. We're in a good place. The only thing that does concern me as one of the old guys is that we're kind of old.
Yeah.
In general, I mean, Dunstone would probably be our youngest top team. We got a couple up and comers in Jordan McDonald and Rylan Kleider's team, but in general, for whatever reason, and you can fix the blame, not the problem. Let's fix the problem. I don't know who's to blame. It doesn't matter. But we haven't done a good enough job of developing juniors. We're losing them. For whatever reason. But no, Canada's in a good spot. I mean, Rachel Holman's not bad, their team.
Yeah, I mean, that's
making everybody else look worse. Anderson had gone through a lot in the last 12 months.
Yeah, no doubt.
Laws, I think, they would be the first to tell you they underperformed for the skill they have on the team. I don't know what or why, but
I mean, another team though that had kids and has done that whole thing.
I've seen that. I've gone through that from a male's perspective, and it's a change. From a mom's perspective, I don't know how Jennifer did it. I mean, I don't know how anybody else does it, but
I mean,
she did it well. I know that.
I can tell you, like, I mean, Lexi's playing a little hit here, but I mean, I'd tell you, it's kind of funny as somebody outside of Canada watching the Facebook comments and all the comments that, oh, that's a nice shot.
Yeah, we're hard on ourselves.
You guys are hard on yourselves, but like it's one of those things where when you were the man or you were the person for so long, like, it's hard to, like, the only way to keep that is to expect the rest of the world to not catch up. And
I always say to people, there are only so many curling shots. There's 8 curling shots in an end.
Yep.
And if we play a 10-end game and we make 80 curling shots, say Canada has been the best at making 90% of those, 72 curling shots for a long time, and that's the gold standard.
Yeah.
Now there are 10 teams at the Olympics that can perform at that gold standard. So it's not that we got worse.
Yeah.
It's that the Olympics, and I blame the Grand Slams. If you want to blame somebody, Canada, blame the best events in the world, the Grand Slams, because they're making everybody better.
Yeah.
And the experience at the Worlds and all that. But there's another miss by Dunk.
Short there.
If I'm Duncan, I don't want anything to do with these rocks ever again, because it doesn't look like he's hating them out of his hand. The guys aren't like diving in right away, but that was a pretty much end-to-end. And
Talk to the boys, and
miss.
why isn't Ewan throwing these rocks right now?
Yeah, right. And maybe they have switched them around a bit, but then it's just in your head, like, is it me, is it the rocks? And that's where you need your help from your teammates.
Yeah,
guys,
for sure.
just tell me. And so there'd been games where if you're not feeling it, it's like when I'm sliding out, tell me if you need more or less.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't need less, because it's hard to kill it, and I'm just going to probably miss anyway.
Yeah.
But if I need to add, so.
I mean, I think about back in the day, man, like, Italy was a bye. And I don't mean any disrespect to anybody that came before, but
there was only like four teams that could win the world championship, and let's be honest, if you played it 10 times, that over the years, Canada's going to win it more than half the time. Scotland's going to win it 2 or 3 times, and then U.S. or whoever else is in there.
I mean, look at
Sweden,
the women's
obviously now.
Too. Yeah, look at the women's too. I mean,
the women's
6
might be harder.
Asian teams. Good Lord.
The women's might be more difficult. Like, you think of some of the teams that are going to miss the Olympics on both sides.
Yeah.
Previously, it's like teams that are going to miss the Olympics. Yeah, they're going to miss the Olympics because they have no chance.
Yeah. I mean, I think that goes to show too. I mean, Eve last cycle came through the Olympic qualifier, won Olympic gold. I think that goes to show just how deep the game is and how tough the world championships are. I mean, you have a couple bad weeks or just I'm not going to like that either.
These guys are.
It's a bit of a struggle out here.
Struggleville in 6, but a bit of a big end. I think you're going to see him freeze on it again. John Cullen's excited downtown here.
John Cullen.
Something just happened in the Anderson game over there, and he loved it. So, but we've got a chance here again for Whyte. I think you freeze one right on there.
100%.
Somebody's going to get there first, and whoever does is going to have real control of this end.
Absolutely.
But again, I'm going to give these teams a little bit of benefit of the doubt and say they're still not dialed. One of the challenges, neither of these two teams played at the Worlds last week, so I know the Worlds teams are tired and beat up, and there have been, talks about schedule changes and it's too tight. But the flip side is these guys haven't had real competition in probably quite a while.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit rusty.
Yeah.
Second game here for both teams. Hoesli losing their opener and Whyte winning theirs. So. But if they can lock this on, if Robin can lock this right on the nose or a little bit centerline side, you might see Switzerland have to run it back and just hope for the best.
And I do think, too, Brian, I do think that, I don't disagree with what you're saying at all. I mean, that's a great shot by Robin there.
That is perfect.
That's about as good as you can get. But I do think that we've become so accustomed to just people throwing perfect games and having perfect curling that it makes it look like it's not hard anymore. And it's still hard, man.
Let's put you and me out there and we'll try and make some shots. We'll show them how hard it is.
Dude, I'll show you how hard it is right now. Like, it is one of those things we've become so accustomed to just high level shot making at every spot. And, it's, when you have statisticians that are tough on you, like when you're playing these kind of shots, playing 85 is
another great
tough.
Shot there.
Great shot.
Giving them a chance.
Absolutely great shot. Now that draw into the corner coming short is coming real into play right now.
For sure. This is it even spun it open. The second one you can see there from this angle where that hit and roll to the button's a problem now for us.
So do you like the hit and roll? Do you like the draw?
I like that.
You like the little split there?
Yeah, and I don't love that it ends up almost top button, but I can't leave that there. So it's either that or you're just drawing around top 4 foot.
Yeah, 100%.
And then he's running that again, and I don't love that. So this is the best result. Let's play the best one. Robin just threw one down this path. Just need him to, you're going to have to tighten up the ice by probably a foot.
Yeah.
Because he has to throw probably 6 feet harder.
This is such a tough shot.
These are the ones that are missed the most often because you have to be perfect line and weight, and then you got to nail the line call. So we'll see if Robin and the boys are up for it.
I was telling the boys last week in Moose Jaw, it's like we played a shot that was like, tap it here and we'll try to line it up on both sides. And that is the hardest shot in curling. 90% of the time, that shot's going to end up stopping, and you just say, okay, now we have nothing.
Got to hold this one.
Looks pretty good.
Okay.
All right.
A little light, but no double and no hit and roll buried. So success. I would call that success. They're going to probably chase the top one.
Yeah.
And try and stay as close to nose as possible in front of that other yellow. But that's well thrown, well called. Or is he? Can't play the run double. It's just going to jam anyway.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think you got to chase that top one and try and roll in front of the yellow.
Oh, that's the, runner.
He is playing the run.
What's the best he can get here? I guess he could plant it. Like a hair high and kind of shooter kind of stays there and rolls it and jams the other yellow though. And
yeah,
you don't want to roll out late in this end either, because as much as that yellow and behind the corner guard's not in, it's very splittable.
This is one of those where if you don't nut it, it's really no good, honestly.
True, because if you roll out and then he splits it, yeah, I agree. For that reason, I'm out. I'm going Shark Tank here. I'm not in on this deal. I don't like it. You're not going to kill both yellows, I don't think, unless I missaw it. But anyway, we're going to watch and find out here. As Philip Hoesli, fourth rock thrower for Team Hoesli, is coming with some heat. And the first skip rock for Team Hoesli in sixth end of this round robin matchup, and it sounds very close. Stuck it pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But Robin lined it up so nice. You can see on the replay, Robin got the angles so perfect on those yellows that it didn't even quiver.
Yeah. I mean, you nose that yellow now, and that's pretty much a deuce, eh?
Most times, yeah. Are you rolling away here, or are you trying to get to kind of nose?
I mean, I guess if you get to nose, you may be giving the double, but that split is gimme.
I think he's going to make that a lot.
Yeah.
So I like trying to get to nose.
I do too.
Just enough to kill it. Got to kill it to make that split stay alive. So
yeah, pretty much the spot that Rachel made that little split in the World Championship a couple years ago to kind of seal the deal against Tiernzoni.
So Ross Whyte's first here. Got to nail the weight on these. That's kind of the key to these shots. Put some pressure on the line callers. Little fade there. I think that one needs to curl. This really needs to curl.
This has to curl a ton.
Oh, he's got it going. Did he ever get that going? That's got to get out of the rings. That's a bad call.
Man, make the double here. It's
needed to keep that carve going big time.
Big time, absolutely. Oh, it did touch the yellow back there too.
That kills the split now, that back. I don't think you're ever getting the one behind the corner guard. I guess you could get it to outcount it, but it's real hard.
Yep.
So momentum swing back to Team Hoesli, a half rock, thick half rock double here to lie 2. You will leave Ross a double for the blank, I think. Final shot, Team Hoesli. Going with the intern. I don't like the sound of this if I'm Team Whyte.
Just
spun up, so the double for the blank is not really there.
It's tough. Yeah. I throw a whistler there.
So just hit this perfect. Kind of a dead thick half and spun up a little, but force. Good situation again for Team Hoesli. Getting the hammer back, tied with playing 7. Team Whyte's going to do anything they can to force somebody to score and try not to give up a big end.
So what's your take on 7 then? You throw in double centers?
I would, I think. Yeah, it used to be kind of automatic, but I see all sorts of stuff now, which is always interesting. So see if Ross can just hit and stay somewhere here. The double's irrelevant. So hit and stay in the 8-foot. Just throwing that 11, like you said. Most controllable weight for this surface.
He looks
no trouble, hey?
No trouble there.
Back to a tie game, and we'll see if they throw double centers when we come back, as it's a 4-4 game. Hoesli will have the hammer coming back for the 7th end.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms,
are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms? Light as a feather.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And is the choice of champions.
Welcome back to what has become an extremely interesting game here between Whyte and Hoesli. Tied up at 4, 2 ends to go, both teams with lots of time. Just under 10 minutes, which is an eternity with thinking time here. Advantage Hoesli at the moment. They've got the hammer, so probably going to see double centers, I would think, out of Team Whyte. They need somebody to score. They know if they're tied up, if they allow a blank here, it's a real bad situation. They may even rather give up a deuce than a blank. And we'll see how Hoesli decides to defend it. That's kind of in the middle from Ewan, and they're going to just go straight around, which I think is pretty standard. 4 foot, knowing another guard's coming, then kind of try and draw around and freeze and line them up. So we'll see if it plays out the way that I just drew it up on my artificial drawing board. Melissa Overton tells me, sorry I'm an hour late here, Melissa. Scoreboard's backwards on the live stream page for Whyte Hoesli. It keeps confusing me. Oh, sorry, Melissa. Not my department, though, so I don't even know who to talk to. Good news is it's 4-4, so nothing's backwards now. So decent come around there. I would think Justin would have wanted that another rock and a half to make room for another one. You can get buried around that one in the back 4 foot. I think a little bit concerned here that Ewan's thrown this one a little too hard, but Duncan's interested now. Yeah, this is in the ring, so you need to freeze it on. I don't think that was the call, but I could have missed it. It's quite possible. Considering the chase, I think the freeze makes some sense. Basically the exact same shot Justin just threw. You want to keep that lines up nicely right to the button, so don't want to hook this really, but looks like they're quite concerned that it's heavy. Trying to carve it over because this is heavy. You chap a little or you get it to slow down a bit. Not great. Ross is going to just not trying to make the double here, because if you make the double, you're going to leave a double back, and then you only have one guard. Not great. Not a terrible situation, though. Not a lot different than the 5th end we watched, where it was pretty clear Hoesli was trying to blank, and Whyte's trying to force, but Team Whyte's going to take a little bit more risk this end at some point, if they have to get that force. Good looking shot here. Really nice there by Duncan. He'll be happy with that one. Again, Dunk's not had the results he wants, but nothing's been like screaming out of his hand. How do you get out of this if you're Team Hoesli? Shot rock, but gonna run it straight back. Do not want to miss this on the slight overcurl. Be within a 1/4 inch here and total disaster, but Simon's going to give it a go. In-turn heater looked a little soft, a little tight to me. He wanted to make sure he got across that one. That wasn't his best stuff. So if you're Team Whyte here, you know they just ran it back, so odds are they're going to run it back again, so probably higher is better. Chris didn't fall asleep, folks. Sorry, I should have mentioned he got called away. He's famous, Hollywooding for some media. Had some interviews earlier today, and somebody else requested another one. I don't know why they're so interested in Chris Plies. Maybe there's some news coming soon. Need this to cover that second and third shot. Pretty good. Maybe a rock or two tighter than they wanted, but that's pretty tough runner. It's always going to hit the red one, but if it's hit right with enough speed, everything could fly. Shooter should stay though. If you can make the adjustment here. Ooh, don't hit it on that side. Yeah, that wasn't an option. That on the other side, they all might have flown, but on that side's really not great. You can see here, that middle yellow one will drag towards the center line because it's hit on that side. If it was hit on the other side, it goes the other way. So a good opportunity for the Force now if you're Team Whyte, and Team Hoesli might want to start to consider, do we want to switch gears here? If you're Team Whyte, I don't know if I want to put too much space between these two, because I'd hate to see the yellow one that I'm throwing now come back into the pile and get them all. I'd want to put this somewhere. It's getting into third stones that can't get more than just the two guards, which that is pretty good. That does the trick. I like that a lot. Because then you'll get to throw a nice kind of higher guard on the yellows next, assuming he makes this double peel, but he might choose to just run the red straight through. Updates around the rink. Mentioned earlier, if you've just joined us, Team Dunstone put a bit of a beating on Team Retornaz, they are stuck in Struggleville at the moment. Too good a team to stay there for very long, however. Team Kim up 4-1 over Team Einarson, so two of the world's best there battling it out. And Team Tiranzoni against Team Gim. Two really good games over on the ladies' side here. And Team Tiranzoni's up 4-3 on Team Gim. They're only in the sixth end. That's got to lead to some time challenges potentially. Sixth end is over, however. Just throwing the last one away by the looks of it. So gonna play the red runner. If we make it straight onto shot rock or second shot, that's great. If it overcurls a little, we make the double. Oh, what a shot. Doesn't get it out though. So if I'm Team Hoesli, I'm switching gears here. We got to score a deuce. You can see makes great contact, just I guess a lot harder or a little thinner on the first yellow, but Robin, ride an out turn, come around. See if Ross will tell us where he wants this one with his broom. Yeah, I don't want it right to the button. There'd be a double or an easy chase bump. This way they're gonna have to come around one top 8, so I'd like this one to slow down a bit. Looks like they think it's heavy. If it's behind the tee line, we gotta make room for 2. It's not, it's gonna stop. So there is a double, but it's not a bad spot. If I'm Hoesli, I'm freezing there knowing there's a double and I need another one in there for my second point. Blank's gone, boys. Marco made a great shot on his first one to give us a chance at a deuce here, so let's get after it. I don't see any other shots unless you're worried about the steal. Maybe you do. I guess you could double peel and just try and make sure you score 1. I like the freeze, even bump it a half a rock to make that. That double's already pretty natural though. Saw Ross Whyte miss one there earlier. They're gonna have a chat about it. They've got lots of time. Start with 33 minutes, 8 ends. Which is, I think, I'm gonna ask myself what I think at the time. I think it's too much time. There's no reason you can't play it in 30 minutes, I don't think, but I'm not the one who has to be out there doing it, so it's a little hypocritical of me to say. Are they thinking of playing the double now, potentially? That would be a little crazy. Looks like a freeze bump, and then set up that double. Where does Whyte go next if we make the freeze on shot rock? It's maybe going to freeze, but then we have double I2, so he probably has to make a really good draw to the side of the button. If he makes it, we've got a bit of trouble. He's going to try the double now. All right. It does stay buried, so as long as we make it, it's totally reasonable. I think I would try and load it up for a 2 or 3 here, but I'm not good enough to qualify for the top 12 in the world anymore. Final third stone for Marco Hoesli here, going with the out turn, thick half rock double. I don't think he can go across the top ever, so we saw one curl on Ross here earlier. He missed this exact shot thick. Marco did not miss it thick, he even spun it up right to the top of the forefoot, but Ross is motioning to run it. I would have thought he would have drawn to the back of the button. Out turn to the back of the button, you can get it buried. They're gonna follow you and it's gonna get very scary though. Could go in turn draw, out turn draw, or in turn yellow runner. Those are really the only shots. If you're drawing, you have to be shot, so you're trying to get buried around one top forefoot, which is possible back button with the way it curls out here. Team Whyte, the number 5 ranked team in the world. Team Hoesli, number 9. Pretty good to be top 10 in the world at anything. I don't know what else they could be. It's just a matter of how much risk do we want to take? How well do we know the paths of the draws? How certain are we that we can make it? I think if they were really confident with the draws and the lines, they haven't really nailed it with absolute certainty yet this game. So if they knew it for sure, I mean, I think they'd already be throwing probably that out turn draw. Or the in. I mean, the turn doesn't matter, whichever one you know better. Gonna end up basically in the same spot. So they're gonna go with the in turn draw. I like this call. Needs to be shot and needs to be buried. If you give up 2 here, it's bad news. You're gonna be down 2, but the game's not over. 5 rock rule. You have a chance at 3 and should have a very good chance at 2, and then you're tied up without in the extra, which isn't great news. So find a way to put a single on the board here, whether it's a steal or a force, and Team Whyte's got a very good chance of winning this game. Flip side, Hoesli gets a deuce here. They're going to win it most of the time. First Scottish stone of end number 7, Scottish skip stone. In turn draw. Sweepers aren't worried about it being light yet, that's for sure. Haven't done really much of anything. Looks like this really needs to walk. It must be heavy the way it's tracking. See, the line got perfect. It's just not the right weight. And now if Hoesli can make that draw, just past his red on either side, above the tee line though. That didn't look like they hated it. It ended up being 4 or 5 feet heavy though. Wanted it back, button back 4, but 0 sweeping really to get it there. I would think they would just follow the same path. You just got to see it, so. Wait, where Marcos Brunes. You just really don't want to leave, well, you really don't want to miss this shot. You don't want to leave it light where there's a double, because that yellow one, it is pretty buried back there. It'd be maybe a possible blank, but very difficult. And if you're behind the tee line, I'm going to say that's worse, because if they make the freeze, you're probably going to give up a steal, and that'd be really bad. Up one without coming home has a better chance of winning than down one with, according to the analytics, but it is kind of like a 60-40 kind of deal, or 55-45, depending on the situation. Team Hoesli, first skip stone. Philip Hoesli taking more ice than Ross took. This one, which again may lead to a little bit more finish. This one's out there right now. If it has the right weight, they just need to bury like an inch of this. Doesn't need to be fully buried by any means. This is heavy too. This is not a good spot. Oh, it's not a great spot. Oh, we got another American friend. I'm just surrounded by our American friends today. Tyler George jumping in to say hi.
Kerry's taking forever to make a call here, so I figured I'd come see what's going on over here, and they're doing the same thing.
No, they haven't been too bad. There was a little delay here, but Ross was heavy. And then Team Hoesli, we said, you know what? I don't think you're very good, Ross. I don't think it's fast here. And Philip,
go ahead, throw it.
Philip was a little heavy too. Not terribly heavy, but if Ross makes the perfect freeze here, gonna force him. Can't over curl though.
Oh, he's got a hammer too. That was a big shot. My timing's perfect.
Right? Right for all the action.
Yeah.
Timing's always been perfect. Ty.
Just shuttle running back and forth between games. Man of the people. Did you kick Plies out?
No, you know Plies. He's got media
He's got
requests.
things to do.
Media.
I remember him mentioning that.
Phone's blowing up, and Jess is saying, tell him to check his phone. He's got media.
Jeez.
They
Hollywood
him immediately.
Everywhere he goes, it's unbelievable. It's not even playing. Not hired to do anything. Just shows up.
Right?
Didn't tell me what he's doing. I got media stuff. I didn't ask.
I said there must be an announcement or something coming. Another swimsuit shoot for him. This one's looking a little strong. Line's perfect if the weight's good.
Turn a little bit.
Oh, easy. We're almost wrecking here now.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
what a beauty. Whew. What a shot. Back to Langer. I got to run back to the other game.
Good to see you.
We're going to finish up. I'll probably come back.
I think he's got a shot for two. If he can see the edge of that yellow and hit it with speed, they're trying to figure out whose shot. Swiss have laser precision in watchmaking. If your eyes were perfect and you knew that was a tie, that would be fancy. That'd be a blank end. You'd keep hammer, but you can see it. I don't know who shot, and I just had a quick look. If the guards weren't there, this is a deuce most of the time. You hit that yellow one hard on the wide side, on the right side as we're looking at the overhead right now, and that might drag it and stick. You're definitely going to score. But I don't know if he can see enough of it. So do you draw the other side of the button and then measure for two, I think. That doesn't look like enough ice for the draw for two, but Robin having a look, it must be very close. Nobody knows. If it is measure and it's a tie for first shot rock, it is a blank end. I've only had that happen once in my life. In a game I was playing in. In any event, we're down to the final stone here. Philip Hoesli, fourth rock thrower for this young Swiss team, and is he trying to tap the red? He's trying to tap the red. I would have thought the draw would have been easier, but they maybe don't know the path out wider. This one looks close. They're interested. Line's great. We got a triple tie? Well, the top one's out. Robin thinks it's yellow. I would assume they're going to measure. Yeah, they're calling for the measure now. Robin looked pretty confident. Some teams, some players will knowingly say it's us even though they know it's not. I don't think that's the case here. But I've seen it happen. A little gamesmanship. Some people would call it an asshole move. Players do their own measuring here. We have for 24 or 5 years, and I don't remember any controversy. Hopefully I don't commentator curse this one. If Robin were to trip and fall or do something here, since he's doing the measuring, the Swiss guys would get to decide. They could take the point. Big point here, though. Whoever wins this measure is favored to win the game coming home. You'd rather be up, well, not always. Some teams would still rather be down one, but up one without wins more often than down one with. It is yellow, and a fantastic last stone from Ross Whyte in the 7th end, and a big steal to go up one coming home, and we're going to have an exciting finish to this game, folks. We'll be back right after this quick break for the 8th end action.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock.
All right, folks. We're broadcasting this around the world, of course. Streaming Home Team Live. Watch it anywhere. Watch any of the 4 games. One's already complete, but it looks to me, I'm a little biased, but I think we got the heater of the draw here. 5-4, Team Whyte. Team Hoesli with the hammer, and we're going to see center guard. I would think corner guard, but these guys keep making me look like a liar. Like maybe they play a different game. Is he thinking a chip in that? No, he's got to throw a corner guard. You need 2 points. You need some guards. He was just head faking me. You see a corner guard here. Probably going to see another center guard, tight center guard, probably out of Team Whyte. But first, Justin's got to get this one, not just on the right line. It can't be high. It needs to be all the way to Marco's broom or even a little tighter. That's borderline too high. And why I say that is you can probably chase anything that's behind that one. So Ross is not going to throw another guard. Might be because of how high those two are. You might think those guards aren't good enough to score a deuce. We're good enough that we can dig anything behind those. Once it's just top 8, so it's kind of a guard, but in the rings. Doesn't want it to be chaseable. Needs to sit. That's chaseable and then some. So how's Marco going to play this? I don't love his corner guard. I like the intern freeze. I could do that, but this is your last chance to get a real decent guard. If you could ever make the chip on that yellow center and get 2 tighter corners, I'd be all for that. Oh, he listened. The shot that Team Holman invented. Rachel told me that yesterday. I thought it was Stevie Gould, the tick man, but Rachel corrected me. I think they said hack. You can't be heavy here. You're not trying to. It's a split, not a tick to try and get them to the boards. Okay, it's going to stay in the house too, so pretty good. Looks like it might spin back buried. Just like that. Pretty good. I guess that was close to hack. Well, I've been corrected here. I guess Rachel's listening. Oh, Pierre saw them do it. So then he banned it. That's true. That is more accurate. I've been corrected. I'm used to it. It's all good. So Team Whyte going to leave that one behind the corner. They need a good center guard here. It's really hard to force any team at the players. I was going to say a good team. There's no bad teams here. There's good teams and there's really good teams. Dunk's got this one in a good spot. I think they'll probably play the nose double on that, though. Need to save the shooter. Oh, he's going back to another chip shot. What's better than one chip shot? 2 chip shots. I think they might have talked some sense into him. Let's throw some takeout here. Make that double. Keep the red one anywhere, really, that doesn't roll out of play. Hit and stay with firm weight here. You're going to get a good result. Needs to curl, though. Looks a little high. I said hit and stay. That's an unforced error. Simon won't be happy with that one. Got the weight right, but unfortunately it was a line shot. So Duncan with the same thing, put it right back on the M in AMJ, and they're not thinking steal right now if you're Team Whyte. You're thinking, I need a center guard if we're going to force here. We need some action in the middle. Eventually, they would probably freeze around the corner, but that would be a late kind of force play. They're never going to just keep guarding one that's just biting the forefoot. We've got our jogging companion back. No wonder you won the gold medal. You're a goddamn athlete.
Running more than I did then.
Did you need some oxygen?
Get my shuttle run in.
I barely
Stairs
made it.
did that to me already coming up here.
Oh, buddy. Thank God I retired. I walked up the stairs and I almost just didn't come.
Not gonna lie.
Just sat at the top.
I did the first set and then saw the escalator. Like, I think that's enough.
No, I didn't quit at least. At least I'm not a quitter.
What a guy.
That one didn't close up the port here, so.
Definitely a hole there, Brent.
This was light there. Duncan back to back. Duncan, I hate Duncan's rocks. I don't know if he switched them or not, but they have not been listening.
Just cutting on him?
A little bit of that and some speed mistakes too, like light and over curl, which obviously are related, but there's a truck you could drive through there, unfortunately, and now.
Nice roll too.
Good looking setup here for Team Hoesli. Nothing really.
It's looking a little deucey.
Nowhere to hide. There's 3 guards, but anywhere you put them behind the guards, they're chaseable. There's ports on both sides, and so they're gonna go to the run back.
You see how I do these switches back and forth?
You get
Big
paid
bosses
twice
in the room too. I made sure he saw.
Get paid for 2 games, so 25 cents times 2.
Yeah. I'm gonna get half a beer out of this probably tonight.
Sounds close. Oh, get that other one too. Come on.
Oh, don't roll the port.
Come on. That's a little unlucky. I think that's right in the hole, isn't it?
Really good shot. Very unlucky it rolls to that hole.
Might have been more important. I know you're not thinking that at the time, but it might have been more important for that shooter to roll a little bit more towards center to have usable center guards.
Yeah, that port is still there, but yeah, if you could bury behind, you'd be in pretty good shape.
Skip and third rock thrower. Marco Hoesli out turn. Looks like they're going to throw some speed. That's the easiest way to get through the hole.
So how did Chris do besides leaving in the middle of the game? Is that right?
Yeah, he had some great stories. We talked about his naked photo shoot in 2010 when he was eating salads, he said. This is rolling too far too. Don't roll behind a guard to freeze too.
Taco salads.
Not bad, not bad. What do you do here if you're Ross Whyte?
Not a really good place to wrap too with a draw.
Do you have to throw a tight guard?
Wouldn't be the worst idea. You still got 3 rocks left. So you don't have to throw the game winner now. Yeah, if you hit the back stone, I don't think you can roll to a spot where they can't dig it.
No, there's nowhere you can hide right now where they wouldn't need a miss on a shot that they would make 9 times out of 10. I like something like that.
Yep. The only other shot would be, and it would leave all the scoring space still open, drawing the intern through the staggered port the wrong way.
Timeout.
Try to freeze to that rock in the back of the 8s if it doesn't over curl. Has it been real straight coming off the wall side here too?
I have no idea.
Yesterday?
No, it's yeah,
Don't ask me questions.
They had a little bit of trouble. That intern freeze you saw Ross make, they both were a little kind of on the wide and heavy side, a little straighter. I mean, straighter. It's not straight, but that's probably the miss on the wall side. Generally this week I've seen the misses be under curl inside out and over curl outside in. The out turn going away, coming towards the wall, it's definitely curling.
Yeah, that
Saw
one will
some
go.
missed line calls there.
The vast majority of the missed calls we saw on this sheet yesterday were wide misses coming off of the fan side, off of the wall.
Yeah.
A lot of those.
It looks a little trickier than, I don't want to say normal, but it looks a little tricky still here. Rachel was talking about it yesterday, some different tracks and a little bit of a dish kind of reaction on sheet B is the only, I think I called sheet B twice, and then the Battle of the Sexes. I don't know, maybe I did it 3 times, but it's my first time on A, and it looks a little different side to side. I think you're right. I don't see any option here other than to get a guard somewhere that they can't hit. Then if they make a good come around, you're probably dead, but.
I like your call of throwing the tight center. Just get something that if you can bury behind your own guard, they may have to take a run at the double peel.
Yeah, even a tight one around either corner, like the yellow one where Ross called, kind of biting the 12-foot top 12. Anything behind that is still shot rock, so going around the center would be the best, no question, but it's, drawing through there with perfect speed's a little bit harder. If it over curls at all, they just whip one down there and it's a waste of time.
And without hearing what they're talking about, every signal seems to be that they really want to hit something.
Yeah, it's great when they're not mic'd because then I just get to make it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't hear Robin say to Dunk, but he said, Dunk, you got to give me a bit more to work with here, pal.
Yeah, they are going to hit this back stone, it looks like, too.
Really?
So the hope would be if you get the roll under the nearer guard that you get a nose back and then you can freeze.
I guess, or you're hoping they fall down. That was Sal and I always had a checklist we went through. First, you hope
fall
he
down
falls.
is number one.
Well, that happens first, right?
Okay, that's first.
Then hog line violation. Well, we don't even care.
Okay, in order. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I see.
And it's good that you're here because you're on the Players Council. Hog line violation, but that's not even possible anymore because the hog line doesn't exist.
Yeah, we're working on that one.
Right. And then you hope for a pick. I mean, you don't hope for that, but you kind of do. And then if not, burnt rock. And then finally you get down to the miss. So there's 5 chances that we were happy.
You got 4 things that could happen before the actual miss.
So the odds got to be in our favor.
That's a really positive attitude.
Pretty good here. I mean,
great roll.
As good as you could
where
do.
You want to go to. Now they have to roll back away. If you do get the nose, now you're in business.
If you don't, though, isn't this a game-winning shot?
Just about. And otherwise, you're lobbing around and hoping he doesn't find a way to dig it, which there's going to be a way.
That is as good as you could do, though. Like, you'd like to chase this with the out turn if you were choosing, probably. But with that staggered hole and rolling back 4 foot's worse. So you want to hit and roll away. So it's an in-turn shot. Great shot there by Robin, but I'm going to call this the potential probable game winner if it's made. If you stay really anywhere in the rings here on the Broom side. So we'll see if... Who's older? Who's the older brother? I would think the guy who calls the game's got to be the older brother, right?
Usually is.
Marco's got to be
the younger brother usually ends up
Both
being the more
young.
talented player.
Yeah? Is that? Do you have an older brother? Is that why you're saying that?
If I did, then I'd be more talented than him probably. But my
close.
sister's younger than me, and she's more talented. So
this looks perfect. Really yeah, Marco was born in 2000, and Philip's super young, 2001. So perfect weight there. Doesn't kill it, but that doesn't matter. So Ross, I think, might wish he threw that tight center on Robbins. You make a perfect shot, and now you're just absolutely dead.
Yeah, not much place to go, and now it's going to be deeper yet if they play the roll, which makes it easier to dig.
Can you throw that in-turn through the stagger port to freeze on the right-hand side for shot behind the guard?
That was the one that I was talking about during the timeout.
Because it doesn't curl a ton there. I think you might be able to make that.
I mean, you could make it going around the outside. You're just totally guessing on the speed, probably the line too.
Yeah.
But that is there if you wrap and get to top 8 around the outside.
That would be all right
too. Even if it peaks a little bit.
Yeah, you'd have to pick it, right?
Yeah.
Ross is still looking on this side of the sheet. He could still throw that same shot. I mean, you could throw on top 12, and then you just... I think Team Hoesli would draw and try and put one top 12, top 8 usable open, and then you got to loop one around somehow and hope he misses a 4 or 5 foot run back, which it's not looking great. If you're live betting, which I don't even know if that's possible, but if you are, I bet you're not getting great return on your money if you're betting on Hoesli right now.
I'd give him probably a 5-1 favorite.
Oh, at least.
If you're setting it.
At least.
Trying to draw action the other way. That might be enough to get a few bites.
I was going to give him 9-1.
Ooh.
I
might bite on the dog side on that.
See? Now it's interesting.
Now I'm listening, yeah. Because you're probably giving me 5.5, 6-1.
Full disclosure,
I
don't really understand odds all that well. I just think that he's going to win this game at least 90% of the time, Hoesli.
Well, then you're pretty close on where you're set.
That's where I got the number. I can do the math. That's not the problem. I just don't know gambling very well. So I think he's chosen to draw just kind of perfectly, maybe just shot top 8.
That was one of the things we offered up.
If he comes up a little short in the 12-foot, I think that's okay. It gives him a chance. So first shot here for Ross Whyte, winning the 4th Grand Slam of the year, and had a great sell. It does seem like a while ago. That was an awesome game. Yeah. Took down Team Jacobs in a tight battle. Took 2 to win. Top 4. This needs to stop, I would think. I don't know that needs to curl, does it, folks?
Well, if anything, you want it over curling, not leaving him to dig around the outside.
So maybe
it's pretty good.
A rock too far, but that in-turn chase looks gross, and the out-turn chase looks like a jam. So
that's a pretty good spot.
Damn, I'm gonna owe you money.
Good thing I took those
Good
dog
thing you
odds.
took that for 1,000, eh?
Yeah.
Can't peel because you need to miss the rings. Sebastian Stock's gonna come out and say, whatever that is, it's, I don't know, 12 inches. Is that what he's saying? What's he talking about that for?
I mean, I'm trying to figure out where
can you see?
In play would be this much.
I don't know.
Right now. We're holding our hands up to each other in the booth like professionals, too. This much, Brent. This much. That's what we're looking
Just
at.
telling fishing stories or something. But I mean, you got to deal with it. You got to move it somehow. In-turn freeze bump to leave it in the hole, or you're going out-turn. Can you get to the nose? Probably if your life depended on it.
Straighter side, but you're getting across the center line at least.
You can't leave that rock there, so.
No.
What's the best way to move it?
I think you can walk it down with the in.
Yeah, if you wired that guard with back line, you're going to hit a lot of it.
Yeah, I think you
get Hulk number 1 there,
yeah.
Pushing down. Weird looks like he's about 6'4", 265, body fat of 1.3%.
Yeah.
Not a guy that
new generation.
I'm not going to stand beside him. Yeah, I don't know. They didn't make him like that in the 70s. Not in Meaford, Ontario, anyway.
Some of them had the body mass. I don't know about the
we used
the
to
body
go for
fat index.
We just used to go for weight.
Yeah. I could name a few that I'd like to have them leaning on one for me, but I don't think I'm throwing out the body fat percentage for them.
Philip Hoesli, probably very similar weight that Marco threw. Just enough to get it out of the 8-foot would be ideal, but even if you just move it and your shooter stays there, so don't miss this heavy. Here comes the remote control.
Gotta turn this one
did he
hard.
Overthrow it? He's gonna chunk it. God damn, I'm bad at setting odds.
Oof.
All right.
Little trouble.
Double or nothing. You wanted the same bet on Whyte? They're gonna have to win in the extra probably, but
see, and this is where if you're a good gambler, that's what you do is you bet one side,
you gotta
it
hedge
flips, and then you go the other direction. You have to watch the end. Already made money.
Like the stock market, you win on both sides. Goes up, goes down, I win.
Yeah.
So probably
now
the
figure it out. That's it.
Same draw would be good.
Yeah, really good spot. And the difference, Brent, in what we're seeing too from earlier slams this year, the World Championships, the striking bands, you hit that much of that stone.
Yeah, Chris was talking about that too. Was it crazy in Moose Jaw?
I was better than what we're seeing here, or I should say more severe than what we're seeing here.
So they were livelier or more dead?
They were. I think they're livelier than here, but they weren't.
I'll have to check the tape, but I think
seen.
Chris said the opposite, so that's perfect.
Boy, I thought they were less lively than Korea for the women's.
Okay.
But this looks dead. I mean, but I think it's the houses as much as the stones here too, because that rock just stopped in the back of the 4-foot. And we've seen any number of draws, especially from teams that played in Moose Jaw, that they're stopping short.
Yeah, there's a couple people here that could answer that for certain, probably.
Yeah, we could probably ask.
Most of the field was in Moose Jaw. So final stone here, and now all of a sudden, making a liar out of me. Big advantage Team Whyte. Ross needs to draw this. Just can't leave it hanging open, which in this spot it seems to curl nice, and he just threw this spot. So needs to be second shot. And even if it overcurls into the hole, it would be really difficult to leave a slip double.
Big pop to get it out there. As you said, they can turn it over hard if they need to, but this has still got a ways.
This is really out there. This is trouble.
That's not light.
Needs to stay in the 8-foot, though. They just kind of misjudged the weight. That needs to curl, boys.
I think you can slash that one. You only need 2.
Super thin, but
it's there.
They mishandled that one. Ross isn't leaving. Going Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving. Standing in the middle of the sheet. You hate it when the other skip runs out to look at it. It's like, oh, God damn it.
Now this is quarter.
It's thin. I'd be shocked if you hit it too thin. Like, if you could jam this, I think you're really, really good. Or really, really unlucky. Like, if you're trying to plant that there, you got to hit nothing. Shooter's going to go, obviously. Probably going to, it almost will stick on the side if you hit it the right. Probably spin out. It will miss the other red. And
yeah, the back one should stay, and obviously the one on the far left isn't going anywhere either.
Big shot to win the game here. In turn, peel weight. Even an 8th, I don't think sticks on it. Really hard to stick it. So if you hear hard early, that's probably dead.
Close.
Oh,
look at that.
No problem. What a shot, and what a fantastic game.
Your gambling career is intact.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Team Hoesli with a big win over Team Whyte in a back-and-forth battle. Thanks for tuning in, folks. On behalf of Brent Lang and my American friends, Chris Plies and Tyler George, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back in, I don't see a clock, but probably about an hour and a half for the night draw and all the action. Thanks for tuning in to Home Team Live. On behalf of the curling group, we'll see you soon.
Draw number 7 here at the AMJ Players Championship.